Driver! Start your engines!
Ready. Green flag, green flag. All rolling. All the way out. Stay in, stay in, stay in. Come on, come on, come on. Bye-bye, Sonny. See you later. These guys are really good. Keep digging. Stay in the gas. Hang on, dude, baby. Did not hit a thing. Why are you waiting so long, man? Bottom's clear, shaking you down here. White flag. Hit your mark.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to NWP tonight here on Danny B Talks. I am Danny B Talks, Danny B Trained, whatever you want to call me these days. I'm joined by my two co-hosts for this week, the Iceberg, Jarrett Lundberg, and Eric Eastep. Gentlemen, they ain't raced in so long now.
I know, and it's so off that I realized that there's something I needed to do right before the show started. Give me like 30 seconds. My bad.
Okay.
So very professional.
You hate it when you get what
Just dog related.
Oh,
No, it's not 555, by the way. See, I didn't even get the light goal right. I just wanted to scare him. It's 400. No, not 4,000. 400. There you go. We're off to a great start.
We need 4,000 likes tonight, guys. Okay. While he's going to do dog stuff, Eric, how is your off week going?
it's going okay.
Yeah, just okay.
I'm just trying to make things as awkward as we possibly can to start the show.
Okay, well, if we have to burn time, then I'll take it over from here. Go check out my second channel, Danny B Trains, if you haven't seen it yet. We need to get that up to 1,000, or so I can get a prediction right. Dang it!
I think you're gonna get there. Sorry, I forgot to give the dog water. I wasn't like I was off. It was like I was supposed to give him water at like 6:50. So oopsie daisy.
Jared's a neglectful dog father, everyone.
10 whole minutes without water.
Animals are not children.
I'm gonna starve.
Animals are not children.
Oh, I see someone. Blue Jimmy said they saw Deadpool Wolverine. I saw it last night. It was really good.
I haven't seen it yet.
We are
I'm having
going
a hard time convincing people to go see it with me.
I mean, I saw like 30 minutes of it on Twitter before the tweet got deleted.
I sent that to a coworker of mine that will remain unnamed, and he said he downloaded it as soon as I sent it to him so he could have it.
Dang. Well,
all right. Anyway, there is NASCAR stuff still.
This is the off week. This is what we do in the off week, guys.
yeah, this is going to be, we teased this last week. This could be a wild card of an episode. We've got some topics. We might play a little game amongst the three of us that the chat can get somewhat involved in, but we're kind of just going to see how this night goes. I mean, there was no race. There's not been a race in like 10 days. Not really sure what, I don't even know what to do with my hands.
There's been some foot races, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I've not watched any of the track and field events. I know gymnastics going on or finished. I was watching volleyball the other day.
That was fun.
Shout out to my guy. So the other day I was watching volleyball with Amelia, the Olympics, and I was, I like to just rant about, I'm like a 40-year-old man. I like to rant about things from my sports teams in the past. And I was, forcing her to listen to me talk about Chase Budinger. He was a NBA player for the Houston Rockets for a few years. I think he went to another couple of teams. But before that, he was a college volleyball player. We're watching the Olympics, and who the hell comes on my screen but Chase Budinger is now an Olympic volleyball player. I was like, what are the odds I would bring him up? And the dude is out there still kicking ass and leap. He was in the dunk contest in like 2010. Like, this guy's legit. And now I think he's a gold medal Olympian for volleyball, which I thought was hilarious. So the most random shout out in NWP history, Chase Budinger. How about that?
Well, and really quick, shout out to, he's been in the chat a lot, friend of the show, I would say, Cody Dennison, career best 7th in the ARCA race at Salem.
I saw that. Very cool.
And it wasn't like it was like one of those 12-car fields either. Like, this is a 25-car field, and he finished 7th position. So good run on his part.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. So there has been some racing, I suppose, like auto racing in the past.
I DNF'd.
In what?
I had a marathon on Sunday, and I had to drop
Oh,
out
you
because
didn't make it?
I had a foot injury, and I only got
Oh.
I got the half marathon. So like
Damn.
I got the I don't
Okay.
know where I put it, but I got the mini half marathon medal. So Emporium, Pennsylvania, you're on my list. I'm like 2028 in the next Olympic break. I am gonna get my marathon medal in there. But
Okay.
I got a medal at least. I got an
That's
award.
something. That's still half a marathon. I think the most I've ever run in one sitting is maybe a mile and a half, and then I cramp up and just can't keep going. So you've already accomplished far more than I could ever dream of. So well done, man.
I walk about 3 miles a day, and that's doing a lot for me. So
Now I'm actually kind of wondering where the hell I put that medal. I'm like, where did I put it? Hold on.
Yeah.
well,
I did
let's
ask.
move.
I did
here it
ask
is.
if Jared had done an auto race. He mentioned a foot race, so that is probably more impressive. That's a cool medal. What the heck?
Yeah, run for
That's
the
awesome.
elk.
I run for fun. Does anyone really run for fun though? Can we be honest with ourselves?
Jared.
You just run for no, you run because there's like a challenge, there's a goal. You're not just doing
But
it for
that-
but that's
fun,
fun to
though.
me.
Like,
I
are
guess
you
so.
telling? No, no.
Well, but I guess that's different.
Running for fun and not getting a medal would just sound horrible to me.
Exactly. Well, some people they do it for exercise. I get that,
I-
but that's like I don't know.
I
That's
will
not
argue
fun.
this, kind of tying both of these non-NASCAR talking points into a little bow here before we go into the NASCAR side. The half marathon should be an Olympic sport, and I'm saying this seriously. It is a completely different race than a marathon. It's so like when you're actually competing for it and you're not falling out like my hurt self did. Like it is such a fast-paced race. I've run a half marathon competitively before, and it is so difficult. Like it's it's obviously not the endurance aspect as much like a marathon, but like you get if you're going really fast and you get to like mile 10, 11, and it's like that point where okay, who's going to kick? You still have that kick factor
Sure.
in a large way that they don't with the full. Like they have the kick with the full, but it's not the same. Like it's actually like a sprint to the finish almost, unless you're like one of those runners that in the Olympics that's like made of twigs that finishes it in 2 hours. Then at that point, it's like,
Hey, it makes sense to me. I don't know anything about professional running, but there's a 100-meter, a 400-meter. Why is there not a half and a full marathon? There's competitive speed walking, right? Isn't that an Olympic event?
I don't know. I'm not an Olympic. I'd watch the
think it
Olympics if
is.
we put the half marathon in. I'd watch the half marathon.
I know there's
think it
break
is.
dancing that's an Olympic sport now.
Yeah.
It's wild what all's Olympic sport.
Remember when Dale Jr. and Brad Keselowski did their own 100-yard dash at Daytona 10 years ago,
Yeah,
12 years ago?
Yeah, they're growing tails.
Yeah. Well, there we go. There's our NASCAR
That's a-
segue.
That's a visual. Yeah.
Someone who may need to consider starting to be a run racer is Corey LaJoy, because as of right now, he ain't got no car.
He's gonna be like Fred Flintstone out there, trying to pedal with his legs.
Yeah, but don't.
Did you guys listen to Corey's? He put it out just a couple hours ago. A 30-minute like stacking pennies episode, all about him losing his ride. Did you guys watch that at all?
I saw a clip. I haven't had a chance to see it all.
So it was really interesting. So obviously the news last week, Corey LaJoy is out of the number 7 TBD, who replaces him next year, but they will likely be teamed up with Rodney Childers. Kind of a shock, I felt, just because while they didn't go super out of their way to mention LaJoy in their original press release, when Rodney Childers was announced, LaJoy's name was mentioned a couple of times as if they were going to be partnered. So this definitely felt like a fairly sudden decision. But listening to Corey LaJoy's podcast today, there was a lot in there. I'm probably going to talk about in a video later this week. There's a lot there. He definitely admitted that he's made some mistakes in the car. Things could have gone better. He certainly left the door open to anything as far as his future is concerned. Trucks, Xfinity Cup. He kept referencing just, coaching T-ball for his son. Like he very well may not race next year. But what was weird listening to this whole podcast was it was like someone giving their own eulogy.
That was
like it had a very weird tone. Like it certainly sounded to me, and this may spoil one of my predictions later, that LaJoy doesn't expect to be in Cup next year. He may not even expect to be in racing, like as a driver next year. He'll probably be doing something, but racing a car, he sounds, I don't want to say content, but like he sort of accepted that could be a very real possibility, it's just sad, which is very sad.
That's the thing, and I try not to dog too much on Corey LaJoy, because as a person, he seems like a good person, but as a driver, it's definitely pretty clear sorry, he can't even touch his dad's laces in terms of the quality of him versus his dad. I know we've seen some drivers that are better than their fathers, like Ryan Blaney, for example. But in this case, it's definitely not like that. But Corey LaJoy, the whole LaJoy family, Randy included, they've done great things for the world of racing with their seat production. I mean, they still have a whole family business with the LaJoy seats that he could go back to and run and operate that. He's obviously built himself into a good figure in terms of the NASCAR digital media productions, whatever they're called these days. But he's got a good place there. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities in the sport that Corey can do that aren't in a driver's seat.
It just amazes me too, like the outlook 2 years ago on Corey LaJoy compared to now. I mean, and from fans, from industry, all of it alike. Obviously for different reasons, but it really, I swear to God, first talking point, siren startup. It never fails. Anyway, it reminds me of Matt DiBenedetto a little bit. Somebody who, like, in 2019, Matt DiBenedetto is the number one underdog who you're thinking is going to make this jump up to a more elite scale. And then he ends up basically falling off the face of the earth and has to rebuild his career. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere down the line, whether it be next year or maybe 2026, if he takes a sabbatical from racing for the year, I wouldn't be surprised if Corey LaJoy ended up in a Spire truck, because I feel like this is probably more of a business decision than a personal one. And I think he still has the talent that he could win in the lower series with good equipment. Whether or not he does is, up to him to prove. But it's just wild to me seeing the stock fall, like elevator drop fall.
Was there like a single moment where that, because last year was a decent year. I went back and looked at the numbers. I think he was 25th in points at the end of the year, which that's not bad at all, considering considering where the 77 was at that time. He was 25th. I don't think he had a single DNF. He was pretty steady. They figured a lot out. Like, I wonder, the race at Gateway where he subbed for Chase Elliott and did not perform particularly well, made some mistakes, was maybe kind of a fish out of water. Like, obviously we know now Hendrick doesn't typically run well at Gateway, so it was kind of a rough situation perhaps. But like, did that hurt his confidence, LaJoy's confidence, or did that hurt the fans' perception? Because he also brought up another point on his podcast where a lot of fans just see the stats, and obviously stats matter a ton, but in racing, obviously we know numbers can be misleading, because Corey LaJoy, for all of his flaws, has never been in a great car full time. Never. Not since ARCA, at least. Not since he got to Trucks Cup Xfinity. He's never been in a great car for a full season. I think this year was probably the best car he's ever driven, and no one on his team is top 20 in points, so he's still not in great equipment. And I just wondered, with that Hendrick opportunity, albeit for one race, when he finished like 20th in that race, was that the moment? Was there a moment where fans all decided, hey, LaJoy, this guy, maybe he's all talk, no game? Like, I don't know.
I don't know if it was one moment per se. It just seems like it's been a culmination of things just that's been happening over the years.
That's probably right.
I mean, I hate to say, I know it's not even his fault. It's the team he was driving for. There were fans that turned against him in 2020 when he was driving a certain car. I won't say what the sponsor was because we don't get into that. But I saw people turn against him during that even.
Yeah, I did forget about that.
I mean, I'd say like that. I mean, it's kind of funny compared to Matt DiBenedetto there. But I'd say fans wise, I think that's when you saw the over the hump was there. But it was, I'm with Danny, is there's a lot of things. And it was a lot of just, whether it be the little snide comments about, if we had a good team and this and that or whatever, just little things here and there that
you can't dog them like that too much. I don't. That's gonna not be good for you.
Well, and on its own, it's not. I don't think even that big a deal, because I mean, a lot of people like love Kyle Busch being like, I suck as much as you do, and people are loving that. And granted, Kyle Busch is a champion, so he can get away with saying that. But I think it's just that those things added up, and he said so many of those things before, whether it be, I believe, Sunday Money and then Stacking Pennies, saying that stuff and then not performing in the 9 and then having a regression after. I mean, I have his, I know stats aren't everything, but I have it pulled up, and he averaged a 20th place finish last year. And granted, this year is his second best season ever. It's not like he's regressed back to, somebody who's 31st in points when only 29 good teams were out there kind of thing. But, it's just, it's clear the teams moved past him and they had a tough decision to make. Do you keep this guy who seemingly can't break this ceiling of 25th in points is what it's looking like at this point. You have someone like Carson Hocevar, who, for all of the issues people have with him, is an immensely talented driver, and nobody can argue that. He's excelled compared to Corey LaJoie this year. And you have Zane Smith right now, who, while starting worse in a brand new team, in an expansion team, is now outperforming him as well. Like, Corey LaJoie, I don't think it's hyperbole to say, is the third guy right now at Spire. Because of how much, Zane Smith was running top 15 at Pocono. He was up front in a couple, not like up front, but he was top 15 to 20 in other races where Corey LaJoie has had problems getting in the top 20. And at some point, doesn't matter who you are in this, unless you're like Dale Earnhardt Jr., at Hendrick, it really doesn't matter who you are. Eventually, you got to put up the results. You saw it. We saw it with drivers like Danica Patrick. We've seen it with others through the years. Doesn't matter how popular you are, what your name is. You got to put up the results. And if you're getting beat by, how old is Carson? Like 20?
21.
A 21-year-old who's driving what is pretty much been a crap box car. Now, granted, the drivers for that also probably didn't excel either. I don't blame Spire for it. It's smart. They're an ascending team that needs to keep their eye on the ball on this one.
So who do you think they put in that car to team up? Let's assume whoever goes in the 7 works with Rodney Childers, because part of me wonders if Rodney could team up with McDowell. But I think they said there's a chance Travers Peterson is going to join McDowell. So let's assume whoever they put in the 7 teams up with Rodney Childers. Who I know Kyle Busch is the hot, like everyone wants to talk about Kyle Busch.
I want him to.
He's fun for conversation. I don't think he's going to go there.
A lot of things are going to fall into place for that to even be remotely possible for next year. Let's not rule out 2026.
I don't think him and Richard Childers have had a just fallout with each other. I don't think that's happened.
I think it would require a contract being bought out, and I don't know if there's a price that Spire could pay to make Richard Childress do that. You know what I mean? Like,
and again, they've had deep pockets in the past. We've seen what Spire can do.
But that's why it's a rumor. That's like, I don't think it's a 0% chance Kyle Busch drives for Spire next year.
I give it like a 20%, maybe.
I'll give it a 7% chance he's in the 7. But it's
there
fun.
You go.
It's fun to talk about.
I'll give it 20 in the sense that, we've seen RCR be bought out, or RC be bought out before with Tyler Reddick.
Yeah,
I guess so.
The big point of why I don't think it's going to happen is, and it's the big point here, is who the hell does Richard Childress have that can sell sponsors? Yeah, I know he loves Austin Hill like he's another Dylan, but like, is Austin Hill going to sell the same sponsorship? Are you going to have the same nicotine tobacco sponsorship on the side of the car with your little U.S. government, this is not sold to children sign, with Austin Hill or Kyle Busch? So that's I don't see that happening.
Seeing they sponsored SHR, and it seems like, I know Haas will be there still, but they've only got one car. United Rentals has been with Austin Hill. They've also been with SHR in the Cup Series, in addition to some races with Austin Hill in the Cup Series. They could be someone who decides it's a better suit for them to stay with Austin Hill.
And I forget, is Bennett, is that a family business tied to Austin Hill?
Well, I think it's more of just an RCR sponsor, but they've grown really attached to Austin Hill as their driver.
I think I remember looking them up, and they're like, Austin Hill's from Georgia. They are also based in Georgia, so I don't know if there's a deeper connection there, but I know Austin Hill probably has a little bit of funding, probably not Cup Series money on his own, but
he's a guy that if they put him in a car, I think they could get what they need for him.
It wouldn't be awful. I think they could piece something together. But to Jared's point, it's like, what other, besides Kyle Busch, are there any needle movers out there that make sense? Even just talking about Spire, I don't know. Like
there's 2 names for me that are sticking out. One is, you got the open seat, don't shake it up too much, starting to come together. Maybe you keep Zane Smith. The other one, and it'll connect with what we talked to in a little bit, Eric Jones. He's a step above Corey LaJoie. Granted, he has had chances before to perform, but he can be that guy that, like Corey LaJoie will have his pop-offs at the super speedways. We've all seen those stats. I've never had a top 10 or top 5 except at a super speedway.
Yeah.
Eric Jones can have some of those at, more real
Darlington.
racetracks. At Darlington. Yeah, I mean, you remember a couple years ago at Auto Club, he was racing up there with Kyle Larson and Daniel Suarez for the win.
His first season, he was leading a ton of the 2017 night race at Bristol and ended up losing it to Kyle Busch.
He's good at Bristol. Yeah, he's been in the mix in the past.
So I think he at the moment would be somebody I think that would make sense, whether he's been connected or not, or if if Legacy is signing him yet.
I don't want to blend our next topic into this too heavily, but if you're Eric Jones, do you want to go? Like, is Legacy or Spire better for your career at this point? I think right now, Spire's a tad better. They're both, I think, ascending or will be ascending. But like, if you're Jones, do you really want to bail on TRD maybe right before they pop off? I don't know.
I don't think there's no popping off with Legacy. I think they are doomed, honestly.
Doomed?
Well, I think for me, if I'm a driver, especially if it's as doom and gloom about the charter system as Denny Hamlin is really putting it at, and maybe that's just desperation too. But if that is something that might go away, I think you got to look at somebody like Spire who will have the deeper pockets long term. Like if you go 2025 without that kind of safety net, a little extra, I would much rather choose Spire, who's on the ascension, rather than the third tier Toyota team where, let's be honest, 2311 is going to fit into that TRD role that would pop off more, I think, than Legacy.
If you go through the history books with Toyota as a whole, going all the way back to 07, 08, 09, they've never been able to really fully do well past two teams. You look at JGR is always the number one, but in the middle there, Red Bull was probably the second best team there for a little bit. When they went away, it became Michael Waltrip Racing. Michael Waltrip Racing goes away, then it becomes Furniture Row. Furniture Row goes away, and I guess it was nobody until now we have 2311. 2311's looking solid, and you got JGR and 2311. Those are your top two teams. It's going to be nearly impossible to be up in the mix of the top TRD performance past those two.
I don't know. MWR was a borderline championship contending team in their prime. I think Legacy because they're building it up themselves, it's going to take some time, but because they're trying to build all of their infrastructure out within their own team, they're not buying or renting data from JGR. Like, I think eventually, if they stay the course, Legacy could be really good. I think they could be MWR, which is a consistent playoff contending team. Like, I think that's Legacy's future. That's what I think is going to eventually happen. But if it takes 5 more years, if you're Eric Jones, you may not want to wait 5 more years. Like, I'd go to Spire. So that's where the debate comes in my opinion. But we'll talk about Legacy in a moment. I want to throw out Eric Jones would be an interesting choice for Spire. I want to throw out some of these Xfinity guys, like a Sam Mayer, who obviously is a Chevy driver in Xfinity. Could he be a candidate for that seat? I know there have been some rumors linking him to Front Row. I think that would be interesting. What about Christian Eckes? I know he's the Truck Series points leader right now. I know he's got a few different opportunities in front of him. I don't know that he'll end up in Cup at this point, but another guy that could be interesting to watch.
I would be interested with him. I think he's somebody though who, because of how he's excelling, like if he wants, he might be able to jump up into a better team that's set up than Spire at this time. Like if I'm him, I'm hedging the future on me. At that point, at least, I think for Spire it'd be a great pickup. But I'm wondering if they'd be gun shy after the Zane Smith side of it, where it's like, hey, this really good truck driver who's really excelled, we're gonna just skip Xfinity and we'll plop him into our ride. And granted, Zane Smith is starting to come around a little bit, but that is an interesting option. That's one I don't think off the top of my head I thought of.
Yeah, I just look at him as, we talk all the time about jumping trucks to Cup, and I know Heim is linked to Toyota. So I'm like, who's been the next best Toyota or next best truck driver this year? And it's probably been Christian Eckes. You could argue he's been the best Truck Series driver this year. And even last year, he had a really good season. So I was in a Zoom call with Christian Eckes yesterday, and he flashed a contract he was reviewing. He wouldn't tell me who the contract was with, but I know he is actively, he's got options and is reviewing contracts and opportunities. So I don't know the timing of the Spire news and and now Eckes with contract opportunities. I'm like, maybe there's something there, but that could also very well be a renewal with McNally. That could be an Xfinity ride. No idea. I just know Eckes he's got
I mean,
options. So
Eckes, could be looking at Kaulig Racing. I mean, I don't know. They might keep him. I would say based on the results, I don't see a reason why they would keep Josh Williams next year.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
no, it's a good point. I don't
And
know. I think Spire will be interesting. I don't see what they do.
I never thought I'd say that. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember after Justin. I believe was it Justin Haley that won with them?
Technically, yeah.
At
5 years
Daytona.
ago.
I remember after that, people being like, "This is BS. This team isn't even going to be here in 2 years. They're just here to make money off charters." It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. They seem pretty damn serious.
And that's what sucks for Corey LaJoy. And he brought this up on his podcast as well. But like that first meeting in like 2020, 2021 with Spire, like he said, like they had nothing. Like it was bare bones. And with help from LaJoy, they obviously have established themselves a legitimate Cup Series destination. So it's a shame to see them ultimately part ways with LaJoy. But I mean, results ultimately matter. Hasn't been the best equipment, but certainly hasn't been the best results. So don't blame him for going a different direction.
and then there's one other person that I feel like need to mention their name, but at the same time, I don't see them doing this. People ask, "What about Ryan Priest?" Well, in terms of him working with Ronnie Childers, I guess yeah, they both coming from SHR, but I don't see that Ryan Priest personally brings in enough cash to make this happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
don't
don't
know.
I don't see that either. And if he were to go anywhere, I would think it'd be a lower series. If I'm Ryan Priest, I think the best opportunity for him would be probably, I'd say, a truck ride. I mean, he's excelled when he's in a good truck ride. I think he could land a top level truck ride, especially with different guys moving up and moving around.
I mean, it was with David Gillen Racing at the time, but now they're Tricon Garage. He could look into seeing an opportunity there even.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just tough.
yeah.
I just think it's tough. From what I understand, and it's like if you want to ride an Xfinity or trucks in like a good seat, you got to bring some sponsor money, and that's where that United Rentals relationship is strong. Then okay, that's Brian Priest is in. But if you don't have sponsorship money, there's very few truck or Xfinity like good truck. Like you could. That's why everyone jokes about Rackley War. That's where Matt DiBenedetto and then Ty Dillon went to rebuild their careers because that's probably the best ride you can hope for if you don't bring a lot of
Because
funding.
they're fully funded by Rackley War Roofing.
Exactly. And then they're also a mid-pack team. Like they're not probably investing the best money in the best stuff.
They're
So
gonna they're gonna they contend on in late models and they're gonna contend on the super speedways. That's what you can count from them.
exactly. So I think Priest, if there's some real money there, which he's been around a while, maybe there are some real connections, then he could get one of those rides, but that's what it's going to take ultimately. And so that's why he's just kind of an unknown. Was there a report out there that Haas has talked to him? I know Haas has talked to Haley
Something.
Deegan, they said.
No, there's something about that. The Deegan one's interesting because it's just
Yeah.
churned up that same argument that everyone's had for the last 3.5 years. And
Hey, as long as she don't step in a Xfinity car this year, I'm all right because I got a prediction on the line.
Danny's been really defending his predictions tonight.
to a fault, damn. But I mean, we kind of alluded to it earlier, but there was a bit of stuff with Legacy as well that's been going on. That one's an interesting cookie, I think. Looking at the Jimmy Johnson aspect of it.
So I've been a little out of the loop in this one. I see a note in here. The 84 crew was let go. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so Jason Burdett and most of the 84 team, which I don't know if those were full-time employees or just part-time employees who would obviously be there when Jimmy was racing, but most of that team has now been released by by Legacy Motor Club. I don't know who reported it first. I think I saw Bob tweeted about it, but I also saw like Sportsnot and a few other places reported. So I think it's just widely known at this point. I don't think the teams put out like a statement or anything to truly explain it, though Jimmy Johnson did do an interview about a week ago with Nathan Brown of the Indy Star, where he didn't talk about any of this specifically, but he did highlight, he said, it's been tougher than I thought it would be to build Legacy Motor Club. He then also sort of discussed the difficulties of running that third car without siphoning resources away from the other two. stuff like that. So between those comments and then the news a few days later, it's like, okay, I think I kind of see why this happened, but it's still kind of, it's disappointing, I guess. Jimmy supposedly has 3 more races on his schedule for this year. As far as we know, they're still going to run those races. Who's going to crew chief the car, run the car? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like we sort of touched on it, Legacy Motor Club, like this year's not been what they wanted it to be. Do you see them getting better, or do you see them flatlining or even getting worse?
I'll go back to what I said. I see them not working out in the long run. I think this could potentially be a 4-year experiment for Jimmy Johnson if it ain't worked out. I mean, think about it like this. He didn't even give it that long for IndyCar. It didn't work out, and he was gone in no time.
Well, before I get my answer, I kind of want to go down this thread with you, Danny. So at that point, Legacy Motor Club, would you say shuts down, or just Jimmy pulls out and somebody else jumps in? Because Maury Gallagher ain't getting any younger.
No, and the thing is with the Gallagher thing, like his son's NASCAR career flopped, so there's not too much of a family need to be there. The fact that he's hung in as long as he has is impressive, in my opinion. If Jimmy decides he doesn't have the interest, he doesn't want to tarnish his legacy, oddly enough, his legacy anymore with this. I see no reason why they would want to continue doing this. Like, what fun would it be for anyone seeing Jimmy Johnson not only going down in terms of a driver, but then going down as an owner like this? That's not fun for anybody.
Well, I bring this up by the fact that would be the first time in how long that the Petty 43 might not be out there ever.
Yeah, and it's sad because of the way things have shifted. Basically, it's just his font. Like the Petty is gone at this point. Anyways, this is Jimmy Johnson's program, and Jimmy Johnson could inadvertently kill the Petty legacy forever.
The interesting thing about this is we all, I think rightfully so, sort of criticize Tony Stewart and even Gene Haas for that matter being absent from Stewart Haas Racing the past couple of seasons. Jimmy Johnson lives in England. He lives in London, I'm pretty sure.
Didn't know that.
I mean, that's news to me.
No, that I don't know if it's London, but I know he lives out in the UK somewhere. That's like in the last year or two he's moved out there. I read something that says he does still spend like a week a month in the US, like at the shop. Like he'll come for like a week at a time, then he'll be back in London for a while. So I don't know how day-to-day how active day-to-day he is, if that matters, but we did criticize Stewart for it. So I think it's fair to at least bring it up with Jimmy when we talk about this team kind of underperforming and struggling. But I guess I have a brighter outlook than you guys do on this team, just partially because I think being a key Toyota partner is a good step. The fact that they're not aligned with JGR has made it harder to go fast right away. But I think over time, again, if they stay the course, then it's going to work out because Eric Jones is solid. I think John Hunter Nemechek, he won 7 Xfinity races last year. Like he's got raw potential, just needs to refine it, not wreck so much. That was his problem with front row, and that's kind of been a little bit of the issue this year as well. But I think they have I think they have decent talent there, and you got guys like maybe a Corey Heim ends up there one day, or some of these other Toyota prospects that teaser we might talk about a little later on in the show. Like I think a lot of the right people are there. It's just going to take time to build up that data and apply it. So the only question I have is Jimmy recently talked about this is a long-term vision. I've heard like Maury Gallagher in the past, you guys mentioned it, he's not getting any younger. Like, he wants to kind of fast track this and get competitive quickly. He's used to contending for championships in trucks. Like he wants to bring that winning speed to Cup sooner rather than later. We've seen all this turnover. Joey Cohen is gone. Obviously now Jason Burdett and the 84 team are gone. Like they have a new GM. They may all have the same long-term goal, but it sounds like they're a little mixed up on how to get there, that'd be my biggest concern.
Well, so to kind of go back, because I'll give my answer, because I think they're just going to tread water. Like, I don't think they're going to shut down. I'm kind of in the middle of you guys. I think they're treading water. The only way I see them taking that jump up is that they become a key partner for a new OEM coming in, and they're the number 1 team or a number 2 team. Number 3 teams can pop off every now and then, but they're number 3 for a reason. And it's very rare, even in the modern day shuffling of it all, that these teams move up and down. I almost think moving away from Chevy, at least for the short term, which will hinder the Maury Gallagher part, that side of it, I think, it was the biggest early mistake. Like if you're gonna leave, I feel like getting a few years under your belt to at least establish yourself and not shake up the boat right away already, as much as I already did early on, would have been the best option. I mean, you remember 2022, that 43 team, if it wasn't for bad luck, probably could have been vying more for a playoff spot or even gotten a win before then. I mean, just think of like if you think of this team, think of there was a lot of speed early on in that season, and then there was a lot of bad luck, like that Kansas race where it took them like 30 laps to get the damn lug off. It was like there's just things like that. So I think that it's just going to be treading water for them, because I don't see 2311 jumping ship. Not with Denny's connection with Joe Gibbs and with Toyota and all that.
I think what's also hurt them, they should have never got a second car. They should have kept one.
But just the 43? I don't know.
Yeah.
I almost don't think it makes a difference, because you change so much early on. Like I mean, I guess it makes a difference of adding on more of a workload to it, but at the same time, you'd get more info working together.
I definitely think they could definitely be more competitive if they were only focused on making one car good.
I can see that, but I think that nowadays it's so important to have information shared to some degree that having at least two cars is a big part of it. I just think
that's probably true.
Them adding so much change right off the bat was just going to screw them for the first 2, 3, 4 years of it. You add in this. I think the big one too is focus factor just dropping off, becoming a sham, whatever the hell it was. Like
no one ever knew what the product was anyways.
Well, you add all this together, and it's just it's going to lead to this. You got people, just think it, top down. People at the top aren't on the same page. You're changing the manufacturer. You're changing the sponsorship, the money. You're changing all of this stuff.
You got in John Hunter this year after firing Noah Gragson midway through last season.
So driver turnover. You have an absentee owner who was over in England for most of it, and who was admittedly does not understand this car by how he's driving it. Is fundamentally can't drive this car the way that it is to make it fast, which is, I think, a problem a lot of the older drivers probably will have. It's just every single level is unstable. So how are you going to build?
Yeah, I think those are all fair points. I still think this team is going to eventually be solid. I think it's just taking longer than a lot of us expected. I know I think I had Eric Jones making the playoffs. I was thinking he'd probably steal a win at a super speedway somewhere. He came close a couple times last year.
He still can in theory, but
he still could. It's unlikely though. But I think everyone, perhaps even those within the team, maybe had slightly unrealistic expectations coming into this year. And that's why we've seen so much turnover recently, as they're like, damn, we're not winning now. I thought that was the plan. Jimmy comes over. I'm 48 years old. That was never the plan. The plan was to build a sustainable 30-year program, and now that's why there's change. I'm more optimistic than you guys. Someone in the chat said it's because Matt Kenseth works there. I don't even know. Does Matt Kenseth still work there? He was at the track early in the year. He was there to help assist with the Toyota transition. At this point, that transition has happened. I'm not even sure if Matt Kenseth is still there. I'd like to think I'm unbiased. I just think this team, it's a tier 1 Toyota team. Those teams typically turn out to be good, at least until they go out of business. Even Red Bull with Casey Kane was competitive before they went out of they left the sport.
They gotta stop messing with it. It's like it's like a kid with a scab. Like, stop picking at it and just let it heal. Like, that's how it feels to me. And it's like, because I want to see them compete. I don't like the fact that the entire time I have watched NASCAR, the 43, the best they've done is basically gotten into a playoff spot when they really shouldn't be in there. Like, I hate it. I want to see the 43 be good. I don't care who owns it.
That Darlington win a couple of years ago was pretty cool. That was probably the highlight of the 43 in the last decade plus.
Yeah.
Okay, Jarrett would highly disagree if I'm about to say, but having the 43 be good is equivalent to the Cowboys being good. They were good for a long time way back in the day, so it just feels weird if they're not good now.
Well, the Cowboys are good until it matters.
Well, yeah.
It's like
the Cowboys used to do something, though, and now the 43 used to do something.
The 43 being good would be like if the Browns were good again. They were great in the 50s, like but who cares? Like, everyone from then is like either old or dead. I want to see the 43 be a consistent playoff level team. even if it's on the cut line. I want to see that. It's like they've had that ceiling of like 16th. AJ Allmendinger got him up there. Bubba Wallace got him up there. Eric Almirola. But like, I want to see this number, this, again, legacy. I want to see it be good. And it just...
And I want to see John Hunter Nemechek be, his story of, getting rushed up to Cup, going back to Trucks, winning, going to Xfinity, winning, getting to Cup now with a key partner team. I want to see that also pay off, at least to some degree. I want to see him make the playoffs, do decent, because that's a cool story as well. And it's kind of inspiring, I think, for a lot of other young drivers who, get rushed up, that keep fighting, and there's always another path.
On that same note for John Hunter Nemechek, I know we already know Chase Briscoe's driving a 19 next year, but we've talked about this before. JGR will keep him on a tight leash, and if he don't come in there and start winning with them, John Hunter could be next up the bat on that one.
Yeah, could be. There's Chandler Smith. There's a few good young guys, but Nemechek could absolutely be on that short list. Toyota really seems to like him. Wasn't Eric Jones? I think Bob Baccaris reported at one point that even Eric Jones might get consideration to go back to Gibbs, which would be weird. Yeah,
that was a rumor.
Briscoe potentially is on a fairly tight leash, I would say.
And there's still so much more too. Like, so you know what I love about the off week? I think we're going to talk about it in a moment. Like, you can just start talking about some of these storylines that, like, the ones where like, didn't this happen? Or like, I can't remember, like this under the radar stuff. Yeah.
Well, one of the under the radar things that came up this past week that got dispelled today was Trackhouse. I think it started on Reddit. People were saying that,
yes.
I don't exactly know what the first point of evidence, but then there was a few sort of unverified articles talking about, there's a new owner in Trackhouse. Maybe they bought Pitbull's stake. So it started with Pitbull maybe selling off whatever stake he has in the team, and then it became maybe thread. Justin Marks. Yeah, maybe Justin Marks is bowing out.
The best piece of advice that I saw come out from all this was what Matt Weaver said, and that's don't click on essentially sports articles because they're not going to be accurate at all.
So I think the way it went about is there was a Reddit thread like asking like where's Pitbull? Like, I don't see Pitbull at the track or something like that. It was like some kind of Reddit thread asking like, well, do you think with this kind of stuff happening, it kind of fell off or like he's going to drop out, whatever it might be. And then essentially sports, I believe they picked it up, and I think it was like someone like Newsweek or some like bigger one picked it up from essentially sports. It was basically a circle jerk of misinformation. The best kind of way I think I could put it is like it just everyone sort of read it, said, "Ooh, that'd be really cool," and started going with that. I saw it, and the first thing I thought of is, well, that would be something that would fit nowadays, but it's essentially sports, and I'm pretty sure I saw a Reddit thread on this. It's funny. It was funny to me. I like the new age ownership here, but like I feel like a Rick Hendrick, a Jeff Gordon, a Joe Gibbs, Penske, like they would just sort of be like, yeah, we'll just let it sort of fade away, whatever, who cares? Or is Justin Marks right ahead of it?
3 a.m, I don't know, maybe he's in another country because who knows? But he at 3 a.m. tweets out that any rumor of Pitbull leaving Trackhouse is false. He then said that the team has big plans for next year and beyond. He didn't elaborate. There's still some weird stuff that fans point out. Like he's wiped his Instagram. Like he's like archived or privated like every post, which Justin Marks, that is. Not Pitbull, Justin Marks. So there's like some weird things going on. And obviously Daniel Suarez doesn't have a contract. He's been talking about it for months. They don't have a deal done. So I don't know. I don't entirely blame fans for speculating that something's going on here because there's very well could be something going on. It's just not Pitbull selling.
It's time for anyone in NASCAR media to dunk on fans like they always do.
Oh yeah, I'm just waiting for those tweets.
Yeah. It's just time to dunk on the fans, F them.
For asking questions and trying to have some debates during a dry couple of off weeks.
You're not a media member. You're not allowed to ask a question. Get out of here. What are you talking about?
Because F them, that's why. It's that Dave Chappelle skit. That's the first thing I think of. Why? Because fuck them, that's why. But I don't blame fans. I don't blame fans for asking it because there's literally nothing like that is going on the surface unless it's someone like us talking about something, like we're talking about today. It's just I think Danny and Matt Weaver, all of them are right. Just see that name, just take it with a ginormous
Yeah.
rock of salt.
Can I actually think of them? Can I say something real quick? I mean, I guess I can.
I mean, I don't know
channel.
what you can say or not.
It's not a big deal. Basically, back in March, they had hit me up on my Instagram asking me if I want to be like some kind of host for some kind of premium content, and I wasn't really sure. I didn't. The name wasn't quite clicking to me, so but I thought I recognized it. So I asked a few people. It's like, is this the group that was like writing bogus articles? And like, yeah, I avoid them. It's like, okay, duly noted. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's clear they don't like they're not actually close to the sport. They just sort of pick up what fans are talking about and then report on it in kind of, I guess, somewhat misleading of a way. There's nothing wrong with talking about what other people are talking about, but you have to present it the correct way. But yeah, the big question though is anything going on at Trackhouse? Is Suarez going to get a deal done for next year? Are they going to put SVG in a third car? Are they going to put Zane Smith in a third car?
I think they haven't talked about it.
That's why we're allowed to speculate, because
Yeah.
Pitbull's not selling whatever stake he has. That seems to be confirmed by Justin Marks. But there's still a lot of other questions at Trackhouse. They're having their worst year since 2021. Like what's going on? Chastain might miss the playoffs. He's on the bubble.
As exciting as his win was earlier this year, I don't think necessarily getting that win at Atlanta should be enough to lock Suarez in.
I agree.
I mean, yeah.
But at the same time, like I think it's all about who's the better option, especially if they don't get that third team. Would you move SVG up there or just let him kind of basically cook for a year in Xfinity, get the ovals better and better, not get a top 5 at like a drafting track, but like if he got a top 5, say off speed, no strategy, he's just running there all day, and he gets like a third at Texas or finishes like second running for the win at Homestead, like then yeah, I'm like, move him up. I think he's ready to go. Starts getting those wins. But he's kind of in that 10th to 14th range, which is good. I think it's really good. Would you move him up instead of Daniel Suarez, where you pretty much know what you're going to get with Suarez? Like, you're going to get that 15th to 20th place guy every year.
Hey, real quick, I just want to say konnichiwa and good morning to Slap Shoes in Japan. It is 9:47 a.m. in Tokyo, where he is currently in Japan right now.
Howdy Slap, or konnichiwa.
He can go to Japan, but he won't get away from Barbara that easy.
To your point, though,
he's fled the country to avoid paying anything.
You just said something in Japanese in our chat, and I don't know what it means. Chat can translate for us. No, to your point though, Jared. No, you're exactly right. We know what we're gonna get with Suarez. The unknown of SVG is kind of exciting. Like, we know he'll contend at road courses right away. Ovals probably another story, but he seems to be a fast learner in Xfinity. He just was top 5 at Indy a couple weeks ago. But like what I said on my show was kind of the same thing you just said, was that if you drop Suarez, is there a clear-cut better option? I don't think SVG or Zane Smith right now are clear-cut better options than Daniel Suarez. Suarez is in the playoffs. Say what you will. Hasn't been a great year. Hasn't been a great 2 years, honestly, but he is in the playoffs. And you look at other free agents on the market that they could realistically get. I don't think there's any like slam dunks out there that are clearly better than Daniel, considering the funding he brings in, the camaraderie and comfortability he has with the team, with the guys at the shop. Like, there's plenty of reasons to bring Suarez back, which is why it's weird they haven't got a deal done. I found a quote from 2 months ago of Suarez basically being like, yeah, I'm confident deal's going to get done. I want to be here. This is the place to be. I wouldn't trade this for the world. That was 2 months ago. What are we doing? What are we waiting on? And that's why I think that's part of what fueled all the rumors and speculations this week. Not just, is Pitbull leaving? It's more, what does that mean for Suarez? Because he doesn't have a contract, and that's the question. So I think he stays. I think he stays in the 99. I think they're waiting on the charter deal, because I think they'd probably like to figure out that third car before they figure out Suarez, around the same time they figure out Suarez. That'd be my guess. There is no media deal done. Maybe they're waiting to see what they can truly pay Suarez and stuff like that. It could be that simple. I don't know, but it is weird that they're waiting.
Now, real quick, I didn't put it on because it is total reckless speculation, but I heard you say it, and that's going to be my little moving to this. The words reckless speculation. And there's a little reckless speculation, and it started on Reddit, and I just want to bring this up because it actually has a little more I won't say even more meat to it as much as just more sense being made with the thinking here. So Dover tickets actually started going out. People were able to buy them, and
I saw something about that. Yeah. What was the date they gave?
So here's what they gave. So Dover, their account tweeted either yesterday or today, less than a year now until our race, which I was like, it's kind of interesting to tweet this now. Schedule's not really close as of right now. Okay. Well, somebody also posted their ticket purchase on Reddit, and the numbers on it is D250719 and D250720. Now, I went ahead and looked towards next year. Again, we're going to recklessly speculate here.
Where are we going?
July 20th and 19th are Saturday and Sundays for, which could be Xfinity and Cup. And the way that next year's schedule is, if they have the Easter break, which sounds like there could be a possibility of some racing going on in Easter, maybe an Xfinity or truck race around then. But the way that the schedule would be set up with the first 12 races with Fox, having to have the All-Star race the week before the 600 the way it is, one of the races that is currently before the 600 and the All-Star weekend would have to move into the summer. And I don't think they're moving Darlington off Mother's Day. That's worked. Kansas has worked really well, and ticket sales have been improving every year since they've moved it there. The last couple, I would say, at least the last since COVID. They're not moving Talladega. There's no way Fox gives that up. And I'm just saying, Dover makes sense as one that could move. Middle of the summer wouldn't have weather issues either. And it's weird that those were the numbers on the tickets that people bought, were basically a date in the middle of the summer that would really make sense for it to move to, because it's a dead zone date in the middle. I know.
So Dover, July. That's
Dover. Yeah.
We may have figured that out. Okay.
That could be an option.
If we're putting Dover in July, do we possibly move Nashville Super Speedway somewhere else? Because that's a sister track. Do we really want those two that close to each other in the schedule?
Well, Nashville Super Speedway would move back a week as of the rumors right now. Plus, they would fit with being a prime date, especially with the prime factories, or whatever, plants, whatever you want to call them. Because Atlanta would be the current weekend that Nashville is at. And there'd be, I believe, 5 race weekends instead of 4 in the summer, in June next year. I would be down for Dover being in the summer. I'm one of the people, I know that Dover has had better races, but after this last year, I wouldn't want it in the playoffs, personally. Plus, I think also you move a date that doesn't have lights into the summer, into it's a shorter weather-wise summer, but you also have then more daylight hours to work with than you would at the start of May. I'm just saying, it could be an option.
Okay. Well, I don't hate it, I guess. It's going to be hot, but it's going to be hot wherever, so.
Yeah, that's just summer for you.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting. I
Just
saw
a nugget.
in other track news, I did see someone posted what appeared to be a slightly newer, sort of like updated map of future Auto Club Speedway, should that project ever truly get off the ground, which I don't have any reaction to it other than it's encouraging that there's still new documents being revealed, I guess, because that tells me maybe there is still some movement there. Because I would like to see NASCAR. NASCAR should race in Southern California. If it's Fontana, it's Fontana. They've already destroyed the 2-mile track. Might as well make something out of that, the rubble that remains. So if they build a short track, great. If they don't, damn.
Yeah, I want it to happen, especially if they can fix the short track package. It still looks like it's going to be a hybrid of Martinsville and Bristol from the looks of it.
High banked, but kind of narrow, right? So
I would honestly be okay with just asphalt Bristol. Like, I've heard Dale Jr. complain about concrete Bristol all the time and how it was better on asphalt. Okay, prove it. Let's prove it. Let's do it out in California. Well, one day, because I know that NASCAR would love to, and the networks probably would love to. We can have the finale out there at some point and do whatever. Like, let's prove it. How good would that racing be with the car that would work pretty well on it? But from the looks of it, they only have enough space pretty much to make a Martinsville with banking.
Yeah, it's tight. Like with all the warehouse space and land they've already sold, it's going to be tight.
They're already building the warehouses.
Damn, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
Industry moves fast.
well,
American industry.
well, it sounds like they're, at least from what it looks like and sounds like to me, it sounds more like they're just trying to get it all built up, ready to go before NASCAR like tries to, maybe, I don't know if they wanted to buy anything back or do whatever. It's like, get it up quick, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Put the pressure on the track to.
That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of what's being done out there is like, what's the word? Like metal siding type buildings. Like they're buildings that if it's not going to happen in LA, but if a tornado ripped through, it'd be gone in seconds. But like it's just a building to function out there, basically.
It's a shack. Just giant metal shack.
It can survive most earthquakes, but that's about it.
Then there was some other stuff here. I mean, if we want to stick really quick on the schedule stuff, the NFL has really been moving forward on the 18 games, another bye week kind of thing. I mean, it really sounds like by 28, 27-ish, the NFL could start on Labor Day weekend and end on President's Day weekend, which would basically mean opening weekend would go right up against the Southern 500, and the Super Bowl would take the Daytona 500 state. And before the chat goes, who cares? Race on that day anyway. Over 100 million people watched the Super Bowl last year, and the last time NASCAR had the 500 on the scheduled date, it was barely over 8 million. And that's with no competition whatsoever. You don't want your biggest race being demolished right off the bat. The Daytona 500 literally sets up the entire year for the industry. Sets up viewership, sets up money, sets up everything. You don't want to mess with the big, bad 8,000-pound gorilla in the room, because that's what they are. They will smush you. They're King Kong.
I never once want the Daytona 500 to compete with it. First of all, I like watching the Super Bowl anyways, but I would never want to see him try to risk that.
Could you see, I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, but I don't know when Fox owns the Super Bowl next. Let's say they get it in 3 years. What if in 3 years they say, hey, fans, come here, come close. Here. We'll give you a noon Daytona 500 start that leads into the Super Bowl at 5 p.m. What if Fox opted that route? They felt like, hey, we can get, like, in the back end of the Daytona 500, all the Super Bowl fans.
Look. In the distance, rain. That would happen. You know it would happen.
Yep.
But not David Land told us if it's noon, we're good. What the?
And folks, we have moved the Daytona 500 to next
noon
week,
tomorrow.
FS2 for the completion of it. I'm just saying, if Animal Planet can run the Puppy Bowl leading into the the Super Bowl, NASCAR, maybe Fox would figure something out.
Outside of the Taylor Swift year, slightly different audience.
Well. Yeah, they'll move it around. They'll figure a place for it.
Let's say the Puppy 500 before the Daytona 500.
But yeah, I totally see by the end of the decade, Daytona will be moved to the last week of February. And if it sometimes it ends up this way, it might be the first week of March. And NASCAR fans are just going to have to deal with it. It's going to suck. I want to stay on our
Easter
date.
off again.
No, I would not be surprised, though, if NASCAR, even though it would hurt ratings-wise, shoves at least one doubleheader in.
Nick in the chat says Aaron Rodgers can do the double Daytona 500 Super Bowl. In Aaron Rodgers, if he's back in the Super Bowl, that's a good question.
Aaron Rodgers is more likelihood of tripping on balls on freaking mushrooms out in the middle of a dark forest than... And he was still the sane one in his relationship with him and Danica.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about her anymore.
I don't pay attention. One other thing I wanted to bring up, because it's really kind of fell away. What exactly is going to happen with JTG? Like that's something that was like a huge storyline of like the funding and the ownership, and all of a sudden it's just sort of
we haven't got no confirmation that Kroger's going to JGR yet, have we?
That's the thing. Like it went radio silent. Like the trail went cold.
Yeah, I don't remember who originally reported on it, but the whole...
Was it Stern? Was he going at that?
I don't know. He's like kind of just shoveling stuff for F1 now.
The Geschechter's potentially going to, or working with their Kroger Racing brand, and also working with JGR on selling spot. I think that was the connection. Nothing was ever really certainly wasn't confirmed, but it felt like that was the logical progression of things. So we'll see. I mean... I feel like there was talk at the beginning of this year that what if JTG is one of the teams selling a charter, getting, bowing out. But obviously that doesn't appear to be the case now. They re-signed Stenhouse. Even if the Geschekters, even if the JTG part of JTG Doherty leaves, this team will likely persist on into next season. Question is just how competitive are they? Can they hold on to sponsorship? Does a new partner step up to work with Brad Doherty for that in that situation? I don't really know. The JDG has been one of those teams that's been a little disappointing to me this year, considering Stenhouse made the playoffs and was like top 16 in points all of last year. Now he's like 25th. Like had a couple
I,
good races. That's it. That's been kind of a bummer.
I think last year was an anomaly. Like if you look at the last 4 years of that team, it was like their
That's probably
blip.
true. I think they're also victims of, as we've talked, I think on this show in the past, is like Chevy outside of Hendrick is having a down year. Like Trackhouse is off, RCR is terrible, JTG is off, Spire. I mean, Hocevar is looking good, but outside of Hocevar, they look off. It's if you're not a Hendrick car, you're not thriving. If you're a Chevy right now, so it could be that as well.
Yeah.
What about Junior going to Cup? It could happen. I swear. The tinfoil told me.
Even in our chat tonight, I saw someone say RCR should sell a 3 to Junior. Junior don't want to buy it.
Damn.
Well,
by the way,
we're halfway through the show. I just looked up. It's been an hour. What the heck?
And we're only 148 likes away from the like goal already.
Ooh.
So good job, chat. You getting that pretty good.
Don't make me gaslight too much.
But Danny, I believe you got a couple super chats to look at.
I do have a few super chats.
I got the time.
See. I don't even need a time, honestly. It's not that many, actually.
This super chat stage break is brought to you by Reckless Speculation.
Reckless viewers like you. Thank you. Alex Love, appreciate the $5. Hey Jarrett, when are you showing us your dog? Me and Gordy want to say hello to the little pupper.
Gordy the Corgi.
Whenever I have 2,000 concurrent viewers on a stream. How about that?
How about behind a not a paywall, I guess, but like a threshold? You've set a bar.
Just saying, it has to be on my channel too.
Just make a live stream. Breaking news: showing dog at 2,000, and you'll get it.
There you go. Honestly,
maybe Essentially Sports will pick it up.
Antar Doth, appreciate it, $9.99. I told you guys that Belgium GP would be a banger. FYI, Lewis got his karma because in 2008 at Spa, he got a 5-second penalty for not returning the position properly, dropping him from first to third.
I saw that graphic they put. It's like 1.187 seconds, the closest top 3 in 10 years. And I'm like, that's cute.
That was funny. I didn't even see because George Russell got DQ'd, right? I didn't even see what for. What happened? Anyone know? Chat, let us know.
I did not
watch
for being George. Isaac V24, appreciate the $4.99. My brother said he's more interested in a Mario Kart style NASCAR game. Which would you prefer, a Mario style game or a NASCAR Thunder or simulation game? NASCAR Thunder. EA and someone else made a Mario Kart style game, and I wasn't impressed with it.
You have Mario. Why do you need a Mario style game when you have Mario Kart already?
Yeah, it already exists. There's no need to put NASCAR in it. Coop, appreciate the $5. It's literally LaJoy's fault he isn't in a good ride. It was his choice to skip the entire lower series and jump right into back markers and Cup.
I would go listen to his podcast today. Not saying LaJoy's made all the right decisions, but he again highlights the fact that if you're going to be in a good Xfinity car, you have to bring money, and he doesn't have much money. And so it's like the only place he could go and get paid. And he even says for 6 months at BK Racing, he wasn't getting paid because it was BK Racing. Like he had to go take the opportunities that were given to him. And sometimes that's Cup and just not good Cup cars. So I a lot of the LaJoy criticism is very fair, but I also think some of it's a little unfair. So I would at least listen to the 30 minutes or so and see what you think.
I don't know how much time we got, Jarrett, but I might as well finish because we only have 3 left.
You got 30 seconds. You're good.
Gridflow, appreciate the $2. Who had the worst fall off, Richard Petty or Jimmy Johnson? I got to say Richard Petty on this, mainly because of just how great he was for so long. And he stuck around way longer than Jimmy has since he's fell off.
Jimmy was still a top 20 driver his retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler
I think that sums it up.
Tyler C, appreciate the $5. Hey Eric,
Hi.
when are you gonna talk about Corey Day signing a development deal with Hendrick?
Well, I guess I haven't talked about it on the show much yet. I mean, yeah, I mean I mean that's big news. I know people think he's going to be really good. I saw he wrecked in his first ARCA start. I think he showed speed before then, so he'll probably be good eventually. And having Hendrick in your corner is great. Hendrick's has supported, thrown their support behind several drivers this year. Raja, they've sponsored Carson Kvapil at JRM a couple times, right? I might even be forgetting others. So welcome to the fold. Welcome to the Chevy development system. We'll see if we'll see where he ends up. He sounds like he's got a lot of potential.
And finally, Fred Dog 81, appreciate the $5. Who needs that second driver in the playoffs the most? RFK, 2311, or Trackhouse? Hope you
23-11.
guys have had a good break so far.
We have. I have at least.
I have.
Yeah, it's been
I
pretty
feel like
good.
23-11 really wants Bubba in the playoffs. Like Ross missing would suck, obviously, but like I don't know. I don't think it's a blip on an otherwise solid few years for Ross. Bubba missing,
Ross has
like,
still felt consistent. It's just there's been so many other winners.
yeah, and he's had a lot of, some of it's been bad luck. Some of it's, they'll just take themselves out at the very end of races that they maybe, like I think about Kansas where he was top two all race, and then the final stage, I don't even know what happened. He finished like 19th, like wasn't a factor. Like he's had some races like that. But I feel like Bubba of that group, that's the one that like, man, they really want to get the 23 team into the playoffs. That would be huge for them.
And there's no need to wait too long for one more super chat. The Oodle 69, two Australian dollars, maybe.
Hmm.
Um, Appreciate that. Jared's Only Pups page coming soon. And there you go.
That sounds wrong in so many ways.
Yeah, it
We,
does.
ugh. Anyway,
Um, yeah, anyways, 2 weeks ago, I went and saw a pretty good movie. I went and saw Twisters, and then last night I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. And as I was in the middle of the movie theater and then coming out, I was like, am I in the 4D experience of Twisters? Because it was just a huge storm. I mean, I almost thought that I was in the lightning round.
yeah. I mean, well, Danny, earlier the sirens went off. There was some explosion, wasn't there? Are they going off again?
Yeah, yeah.
Are they? Let me see. I can't see on your end very well.
Yeah, they're going off. Oh God, they're going off.
I don't think
Danny
he has the
does
lever,
not know. Yeah, Danny,
the button. Yeah.
does he have the button or no?
I don't even know how he did that. He were messing with camera effects
I
before
thought he
the
was
show.
watching Oppenheimer.
Oh,
Danny
Yeah, we should-
completely missing the mark on this one.
That's
okay,
okay.
that's hard because I actually have to open up OBS and then open my camera
It took
settings
me a
to do that.
second too.
Okay.
Anyway, what was
Wait,
he?
set me up again. Set me up again.
Just do it, Danny.
Bombs away. Oh goodness.
Oh, there it
Ah!
is. All right.
Jeez, looks hot over there.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get a couple of these finished on up here for the lightning round. The Homestead Miami Speedway's Cup race will be called the 2024 Straight Talk Wireless 400. So it's got a sponsor. Good job.
Cool.
We talked about earlier the new renders from the Auto Club Speedway had been released, redesigned, whatever that might be. This was one that was talked about a little bit before, and then I saw Bozy talk about a little bit more. NASCAR has given the teams these lifters in the back of the cars in case of flat tires that will raise the rear end of the car up, allowing them to be able to drive back to pit road if they have multiple flat tires. And they are only allowed to be set off by a NASCAR official, so the teams can't really mess with them all that much. So NASCAR actually looking and finding hopefully a what's the word, a remedy for the problem with the next gen, which I hope it works.
If NASCAR officials are the only ones who can activate it, though, it still wouldn't have fixed the end of the Pocono finish with, or wherever finished it with the Ryan Preece contract. Indianapolis. I'm sorry, I was like, where did we just race? Not Pocono. Indianapolis.
No, it would have been Pocono the year before.
Yeah, that would. Preece, stop spinning out on the last lap, damn it!
Stop crashing, damn it. The NWP channel, by the way, for episode replays and specials and everything else, might have some premieres or something on there in August. That is up at NWP Clips, so be sure to check that one out. And then, guys, we got, what's awesome is we're getting closer to the NWP 400, so we actually have background footage here of the first trailer for the NWP 400. It'll be on August 20th on IDK Players channel, Gen 4 Daytona Racing. Nice night race. We got a whole lead up. August 15th, we got the duels. August 12th, we got the shootout. We got a whole speed week lined up for you. Actually, more than a speed week. It's basically speed weeks. So if you're interested in being a part, sponsoring that in any way with us, or even sponsoring the show, check us out on weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com. But looking like it's going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait to do that. I always love this event. It's one of my favorites of the
Eric's
year.
already getting ready.
Oh my gosh, he is.
I'm warming up. Yeah. Some folks have, I have my own little shout out. I'm excited about the NWP 400, but recently I got connected with a YouTuber. Some of y'all might be familiar with DJ Yej. And our first video on the Daily Downforce YouTube channel, I think will be up later this week. He is beginning to coach me on my iRacing journey. So y'all know me. I've done a lot of iRacing broadcasts over the years, been a part of things like the NWP 400 on the show side. Now, potentially in the future, once I get a few more laps, a few more 100 laps, 1,000 laps maybe under my belt, perhaps I'll be a part of the show on the racetrack. So you guys have been saying for years, Eric, you should do iRacing, do iRacing. I'm finally beginning my journey with the help of the one and only DJ EJ, who has a pretty fun channel as well. So be on the lookout for some videos in the coming weeks and months.
All right, let's do a little practice here. Get on the wheel for me, Eric. There, get on the wheel. Hey, Eric, this is Danny B up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy? Oh, well, let's try him again. We must see Fox. Hey, Eric, this is Danny B up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Hey, are my pit road lights good? Hold on. Let me check my,
No, he's in the wall! He's in the wall!
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, Danny. I just love when they ignore the booth.
And then last little bit, we'll keep on the Eric train here. We'll be on Eric's channel next week, August 7th. We're already to August, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday night. Should be a lot of fun. Heading into Richmond. We got racing again.
Ooh, exciting. Good
Let's
stuff. Good
go
lightning
racing.
round.
And as we finish this out, 120 likes away from the goal.
You guys can do it.
No, Woo. Danny, you need to gaslight him more.
Sorry, I guess they don't want it. I mean, I would love to play Random Driver this week on my channel, but
there's no race preview this week, Chad. If you want a full show, we got to hit the 400 likes.
I guess y'all just don't care.
Wow.
We do have a game for him, at least.
We have a couple of games, I think, coming up here, perhaps.
Yeah.
Where are we starting? Where should we start?
Do you want me to lead in on this one, Danny? Because this is kind of my brainchild.
This is your baby. You need to explain it.
All right. So for those of you who do fantasy football or fantasy sports and drafts, you'll know a snake draft, where you go, for instance, player 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden you restart to 3, 2, 1. We thought it'd be fun to do a prospect snake draft. Basically, which driver in 10 years or which driver team that you can put together of the current prospects would be the best one you can draft by 2034. Now, they can't really be scheduled to or have run too many cup races. We'll kind of, keep that gray area. If any of us draft somebody, it's too much, we'll call them out, or the chat can call them out. Also, we're not going to have people who are coming over here from other series, like an SVG, somebody like that.
That was my number one pick.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding.
Can't have them.
I'm just kidding.
So that they must be guys who are at the moment full-time in Xfinity, Truck, ARCA. We can do Cars Tour, signed on to development deals, whatever they might be. They can't be signed for a cup team for sure yet. There's no one. A lot of these ones aren't confirmed.
Wait, I have a clarification.
Yeah.
Does that eliminate Connor Zilic from the list because he signed to Trackhouse, or
he's not signed to a cup ride.
He's not ride driving. So you can pick anyone as long as they're not like cup guys.
Yeah, as long as they're not going to be a cup guy. We want to make it interesting and leave something to the imagination for the future here. We're going to go in order of the hosts' pick point. So Danny would go first, And then
I go third.
the way a snake draft works, to make it fair, so Danny would go first, then me. Third, end of the first round would be Eric. Then Eric leads off the next round, and we go backwards.
Okay, I'll take that.
And we just do that. So Eric would get 2 in a row, and Danny would get 2 in a row, and then I'd sort of be mixed in the middle here. So
okay, all right. So we're gonna each pick 3 prospects, and I think what we want to do at the end is have the chat. We're gonna put up a poll and have the chat vote who they think the best 3-man team is. I think that'll be fun. Okay.
So Danny, lead us off. Who would your first pick be in the nice little snake draft here?
I got my draft board here.
Well, hold on. Dun, 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 dun. What's the draft noise that they make?
I'm not doing this every time.
That's pretty good.
I'm lugging it.
I wish it was convenient to get this sound, but with the number 1 draft in the NASCAR snake draft, Danny B selects Carson Quaffle, Junior Motorsports.
Wow.
Seriously?
First overall. That's whoa.
I think he's got a lot of potential.
Oh, he does, but that's wow. Okay.
And Danny, were you trying to do a Roger Goodell? Because it sounded like you were doing your best Obama impersonation.
I don't know what I was going for there.
Michelle told me to take this one.
My fellow NASCAR fans.
Oh man, that one that threw me off. That was
I did not expect that. Okay.
Carson Quaffle. All right.
All right. Wait, sorry, Jared, before you go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm lugging it.
That's what I'm gonna do instead.
All right, let's see. Because I got like my entire board already ready to go here. So like I have a draft board of like 16, 17, 18 prospects. Because I don't want to like get too cute with it, but like there's some that I see being really good ones over others. But since we agreed before the show that he does count, I am going to go with Corey Haim as my first one.
It's Haim time. Okay. All right.
I think he's only made 2 starts. He's not necessarily signed just yet to it. So he's
not a cup guy yet. He's a prospect.
Yeah, he fits in.
All right. Well, then I am very happy that I was hoping to get either Haim or this guy. I'm glad I'm getting one of my 2. So my first round pick is Connor Zilic.
I knew it.
Yes. And I get a second pick too. I get to lead off the second round. Oh boy, now my board I got options.
It's more interesting, I think, like as we go past these first 3 or 4.
This is tough. You know what? I think it's good to build a team with good camaraderie. Everyone gets along, coaching each other, challenging each other. If you listen to rival podcast Door Bumper Clear, these 2 are great buds. My first pick of the second round is Jesse Love.
That's a good one. He was one that was on my second round prospects.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that leaves me up next. All right. And let's see. God, there's a lot of good ones. But I know he's cooled off as of late, but I'm going to go with Chandler Smith.
Not bad.
As my next one.
He was on my second round board, most likely.
I'm going to go fair. Yeah, Chandler Smith. I think him and Corey Haim on the same team be really good. So I'll go with that.
All right. So I get to go 2 in a row here.
Yes.
And
well, hold up. Eric, do your thing.
Oh, I'm
lugging
NWP draft.
I like that. Ty Majeski does not count, by the way. He doesn't fall under the parameters because I think we're also going with young. We're going with younger guys too.
He wasn't on my board, so that doesn't.
But he's also like I'd say truck older. Lifers like him or Ben Rhodes. Like I don't think they'd really count.
Well, I don't know that anyone.
I'm going to Matt Crafton.
In the spirit of what we're going for.
I'm actually going to Raja Karuf.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Danny is throwing curveballs out here.
And I have to have another one now.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Go for it. Who's your final pick?
My final one is Sam Mayer.
Ooh. Okay. All right. I did have him in my I had him as a 3rd round pick, so that makes sense. That's fair.
See, you guys so the chat didn't see it, but after from basically the start of the year until the NFL draft, after a lot of the shows, every now and then we do our own mock drafts with different guests and stuff. Like, so I like getting into like the meat and potatoes rounds later on is actually more fun for me, I think, than the first rounds. So I can I'm crossing out the ones that I'm not going to choose because there's some of them that just don't make sense to me, and some of them that I'd need to see more. But let's see. I'm wondering what because we're going pretty good with the guys who are in like the trucks and Xfinity, but I want somebody who's a longer term prospect. So I'm gonna go with the new Hendrick development driver. I'll go Corey Day on this one.
Ooh, okay. I think him as a 3rd round pick. Okay.
Real quick, I know Eric's the only one left. Someone said, so if no Majeski, no Austin Hill.
I had Austin Hill on my board. I'm not picking him, but I did have him on my board as a backup.
I'm wondering because I think I got like 14 or so left of the list when I just wrote out ones I could do, and I'm wondering which one of these you're gonna take.
Chat, can I source the chat on this one? No, that's cheating because then we're gonna have them vote.
Yeah, because we did,
so I can't do that.
Yeah, and we didn't.
Because I was gonna ask them because I don't know one guy I kind of want to pick. I don't know a lot about. I just hear everyone rave about him. I haven't seen him race. Or I could go with someone who's been around a few years, a more of a proven commodity. My current team right now is a couple of teenagers. I got Connor Zilich, very little NASCAR experience, and Jesse Love, who's in his first year of Xfinity after being an ARCA last year. So I've got 2 really young guys. I think I'm then going to go with someone a little older who's been around the block. I'm going to go Christian Eckes with my final pick. So that's my team.
You kind of inverted what I did.
My other pick was going to be Brent Cruz, but I felt like I'd be picking 3 boomer bust guys, whereas I wanted one like an Eckes who I feel like is probably going to be steady. May not be amazing, but he's probably going to be good. At least I can count on that.
So these are some of the ones we left off the board. We left off guys like, there's some of them that I knew wouldn't get picked, like Herbst or like, Ankrum. But William Sawalich is off the board, or still on the board. Sammy Smith, Nick Sanchez, Connor Mosack. Okay. Connor Mosack, somebody I think I like get him in some good equipment, and he can be pretty good.
Maybe
people are saying Butterbean's on the board.
Butterbean, and Carstore was one that counted that we could go towards. Lane Riggs is somebody that they said. Jake Finch, he's somebody who's shown promise. Sure. So there's a lot. I'm telling you, like we talked about it the last couple weeks before the break started. Like, I'm really excited because the young crop of drivers, I know there's going to be a bottleneck, but it's really, really damn good. So
there's some good ones. There are some very good ones coming up. That's going to be exciting. That's why we debated this last week, but I loved the Heim-Eckes confrontation just because at least it shows that, hey, there's a real rivalry between 2 of the top young guys coming through the ranks.
I mean, so I wrote down everyone we had. We had Carson Quaffle, Corey Heim, Connor Zelich, Jesse Love, Chandler Smith, Roger Kroof, Sam Mayer, Corey Day, Christian Eckes. All those drivers have good potential for their career.
Well, Danny, set up the poll. So
I'm dying at the chat. CBB is, how about Danny Dye? Daniel Dye.
Oh, God. So before you put the poll up, I'll read the teams. So just get the poll ready.
If Mikey Waltrip was on this podcast, it would be all Daniel Dye.
Okay, so
it's a Dye, Daniel.
Okay, so let me read these off now, and then put the poll up. So Danny has Carson Quapple, Raja Caruth, Sam Mayer. I have Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Corey Day. I got the Triple C. And Eric has Connor Zilich, Jesse Love, Christian Eckes.
A lot of very...
Yeah, all but 3 of our picks had C in the name.
Yes,
in the first name.
Of Corey's, a lot of, yeah.
Yep.
So, which one will be the best by 2034? I think that's what the big question is. And Eric's winning by a landslide.
I think getting Zilich and Love back to back really helped.
I almost went with Zilich. I'm like, Heim. We had that conversation before.
I think, so here's what I expected Danny to take Heim or Zilich. I
swear our chat doesn't listen.
And then I figured you'd take the other. And then I thought I was going to be not stuck, but I thought I was going to have to take Jesse Love with my first round pick. And instead I'm like, oh, I got Zilich and I could take Love. That gave me the edge there. A lot of people are high on Zilich, even though, I mean, he hasn't hardly raced anything NASCAR related yet. I think he has some truck starts coming up. So we'll really get to see more of what he can do, especially on ovals. But yeah,
I'm sorry. The chat's making me laugh because first off, we said SVG didn't count. We said SVG was not in this, and two, we have not dropped any frames. So if it's lagging, it's on your end. Apologies.
I got lucky on my haul. I got that Zillich love. I'll take that.
See, Danny's is definitely, I think, the longest term looking one. Like Heim for me and Chandler Smith were like, I need an immediate impact player. And then Corey Day is my long-term one.
Yeah.
Like I kind of played it safe where the three I chose are within the Hendrick like path, it seems.
Yeah, and they all have like, I mean, I think everyone we picked has a path to Cup one day, whether it be connections, team connections, funding, skill, all that stuff. But like your pick of like, the number of people who vouched for Caruth, Guapel getting those opportunities this year, and obviously Sam Mayer's now a proven Xfinity winner and is already getting some Cup looks. Like I think your guys certainly all have very clear paths to the next level.
I will say this. I want to comment on something someone just said in the chat. Had we not set the parameters to being Cars Tour being the furthest out we could go from, I would have probably put Brexton Bush in there too. Because
why?
He's gonna have a path.
But I know, but you can have a path. Like Stephen Wallace had a path. Like what has Brexton Bush done that would prove he'd be good in a stock car? Is my question.
I mean, he's been winning races
in stock cars.
Well, and what he's been racing, he's going to be fine. Brexton Bush is going to be fine.
I needed a little bit like whether they're signed on with the deal right now or something. Like, cause like if like that's a big reason we set the parameters that way. Is that way like Brexton Bush and Keelan Harvick didn't take up just for namesakes purposes.
Yep, there we go. There's the chat.
I told you,
Harvick, yeah.
Half the chat's not even listening to the parameters. Like if they did
Larson.
the vote, if they did the vote, they're gonna be like, Jeff Gordon's kid.
Yeah, I mean, gosh.
So now we're gonna do this with nepotism only.
The nepotism draft. That's like the international draft or whatever in baseball.
All right, I'm gonna take Owen Larson, Brexton Bush, Cash Boyer.
I'll take Keelan.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else is in the nepotism tree?
Someone said a Haley Deegan Jr.
I don't think it works that way.
Wait a second. Hold
Using lessons learned from Chase Caper Sr.
Senior. Dale Jr. Yeah.
That's a band, by the way.
It is. Yeah, that's funny. I'm here for the Nepo draft. Oh, yeah, Tony Stewart. They have a baby on the way.
TSJ, Tony Stewart Jr.
Someone mentioned Carter McMurray. There's one for the future.
Yeah.
How do so many people know all these drivers' kids' names?
Does Paul Menard have a son? He'll be the greatest NASCAR driver ever.
No, I think about that sometimes. Like Dave Blaney when he was racing in his prime. Do you think anyone was like, "Oh yeah, his son going to be a champion one day"? Nobody was probably saying that back then.
No,
I'm not seriously.
I told you I've been rewatching races from like 05, 06, and like you'll hear the names like they showed John Hunter Nemechek. He was one of the kids in 05 at Bristol who was singing the national anthem, and I'm like, wait a minute, he doesn't look a day older now. Sorry, the dude doesn't age. Like I'm just like blessed with genetics.
Whose son now or daughter is going to be a NASCAR champion? Like, what if? I mean, Ace Dillon. Does Ace Dillon drive? What if Austin Dillon's kid turns into a?
He's got a pathway.
Champion. Yeah. So
I found it out. Paul Menard has a son. Here we go. The future is hard for Menard. Everybody.
I don't know if we want to say that about a child.
Wait, who's this? Okay. He is a kid.
The future.
Like I might be giving you a job application for Mr. Beast after that one.
Okay, Jared.
2014. So they must have a kid about 9-10 years old. All right, well, you can get him in a late model.
9-year-olds in late models. It's happened.
We got Sam Hornish Jr., Shane Van Jr.
Well, I don't know why that
Jr.
The third.
Some names just don't really work as junior. You know what I mean? Like Dale Earnhardt Jr. just sounds cool. I don't know, but like.
This is sad. Someone's already put NASCAR bust Ace Dillon and already put his son into being a bust.
That's tough. Oh yeah, AJ Allmendinger's kid, Arrow James Allmendinger.
That's actually a really cool name.
It is a cool name.
Arrow Allmendinger.
Well, that was a fun draft. The Nepo draft coming season 8.
Martin. I'm waiting for somebody to put like MTJ3. Like I feel like
The
that would
third.
be
Martin Truex the third.
MT3. That wouldn't be a bad nickname.
No, that's not bad at all.
All right.
Yeah.
What else we got on the docket tonight, Danny?
Let's see here.
We could probably take the poll off. Eric's won, and I have definitely tanked.
It's okay.
Yeah.
This is, how many teams win the draft every year actually end up winning the draft?
Jared just
Ask the
tanked
Panthers.
just tanked for a better draft for next year.
Yeah,
I get
his picks.
I get the first pick of the Nepo draft.
Next up is we don't really have weekend predictions, but we can still have our accountability predictions.
Well, we
Yeah,
can
and
get
we're back.
predictions. There's a season still and years to come.
That's what I'm saying, the accountability predictions.
Yeah. All right. So let's just get everybody on the same page here. Prediction segment. Each host makes 3 NASCAR motorsports show related predictions. We'll keep track of each one that are right and wrong each week as of the start of the show. And we'll keep them concise within 2 to 3 years of the predictions. And this week was sparse, guys. It was sparse, but it was sparse in a good way because I got one right. At the expense of Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch. I said that at least, and this was like one of my first predictions of the year, I said at least one NASCAR Cup Series driver would trend on Twitter for a political and or social reason before the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Congratulations, Austin Dillon. Your grandfather made you trend. And then Kyle Busch, the season couldn't get worse. You trended for shit that you weren't even involved with. Eric,
Tough break.
nothing came off the board. Danny,
Right.
as of the start, nothing came off the board. We'll get that one covered next week. But the chat came in clutch for you. Prediction wise, I'm leading 37.21%. See, I can win this one for now. Eric is sitting at 33.33333333%, and so on because it's 1/3 correct, and Danny at 27.08. I wonder if somebody just took that clip of me going 333333333 and just like put it on a loop. If it would just sound like, if they thought like, oh crap, the stream's buffering on me. All right. Well, and by the way, chat, you better get to it. 55 likes away. Get your burners. I know you have them.
Yeah, come on, guys. I don't want to gaslight. I'm not in the mood for it. I'm just not in the mood. I wish you guys cared enough. I'm not in the mood for this.
I was about to say, I am. Alrighty, so this will be interesting. If I can read my own handwriting. I wrote this right after I ran a good amount. But I'm gonna go with the longer term one here. But I think this will be a fun one because it's been rumored. It's been rumored since last summer. There seems to be production rumors on it. So I'm going to say by the 2025 Daytona 500, there will be a credible report of Days of Thunder 2.
Ooh, kind of fun.
By the green
Incredible.
flag of the 2025
Okay.
500. So like if Tom Cruise is there as like the Grand Marshal and they announce it there, or it's a commercial. Okay, I say by the checkered flag, actually. By the checkered flag. Because there could be like a trailer maybe if there's any of that. I'll say by the checkered flag
Okay.
of next year's 500. I can edit it while I'm still here. But I'd love to see it because if it's anything like Top Gun Maverick, I am all aboard.
I wonder, someone mentions in the chat, Bruckheimer, producer, is working on the F1 movie with Brad Pitt. When does that release? Is it next year? Because I could see if that's a hit, then that would only further maybe his, the confident. These movie studios, they need past successes to they need like comps that they can go to and say, hey, look how successful this is. What if we do a similar version? And if an F1 movie with Brad Pitt does well, aging actor, racing movie, Bruckheimer, maybe then they finally convince Tom Cruise or whoever they need to get a Days of Thunder 2. Because I'm sure Steve Phelps would sign off instantly if they said they wanted to do it.
Tom Cruise earlier this year was at Charlotte Motor Speedway just looking over the track and taking pictures and stuff. So
Yeah,
just saying.
I saw him. He was just there. He was just hanging out. He had a hot dog and,
stirring the
forgot
pot.
to rent he forgot to rent a scanner though. I saw, no, I'm just making it up. My first prediction, this one's kind of a downer to start with, but I didn't get confident vibes listening to LaJoy talk in his podcast. So I feel my first prediction is that Corey LaJoy will not race full time in 2025.
That's pretty fair. I'm thinking a few races in a few weeks from now. I'm thinking that for the Bristol night race, a Toyota will win that race.
There's a pretty good chance and shot at that. All right, I'm second up. Let's see, which one will I choose? I'll stick on the Toyota one. I'll say that Toyota will make up 4 of the top 8 at Richmond in the coming weeks. That's just been their playground, man.
Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely. My next one is show related. I was looking at the random driver of the week standings earlier, and actually I forgot what the numbers were. Let me scroll. Let me see here. Okay, so Danny and I are tied. We've gotten 8 of those correct each. The guests, though, we don't have a guest every week, have gotten 5 right. So they're batting pretty good. My prediction is that we will stump our guests the rest of this year. A guest will not win random driver of the week one time from here on out.
Bold, and I'm not willing to support that.
Well, I'm going to need you to step up your game, Danny, in case I fall off. I need you to bail me out. Danny's going to intentionally throw.
I'll purposely go make it the most obvious thing. His father was Dale Earnhardt Sr. I don't know.
Please don't.
Bobby Dale.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I'll be like, Hardy got carried this year. Who else could it be?
Kelly. just have like the most brain dead response to it too. You're like,
so I also
his father, Kelly.
A little inside baseball. I also looked at our upcoming guests. We have a couple of confirmed, but we don't have very many guests confirmed for the rest of this year. So I'm also betting that we just don't get as many. We had a run here this summer of guests every week, but I'm betting on we're not going to have quite as many guests the last third of the year as we've had. We'll definitely have some, but we may not have every single week. So the law of averages, I'm hoping, works in my favor.
Is Danny up or me?
Oh, sorry.
I was getting some stuff written down, so I'm just making sure.
Within the next 2 years, Will Ferrell will revise the role of Ricky Bobby for a Super Bowl commercial within the next 2 years.
I could absolutely see that.
Next 2 Super Bowls or?
Yes, okay. So next year's and then the year after.
Okay.
So there could be any product that wants to, kind of like those commercials he was doing in a movie one time where if you don't chew Big Red, you...
Yeah, I was just thinking that the 2026 Super Bowl would be 20-year anniversary of Talladega Nights.
What city is it in? Have they confirmed that yet?
I don't pay attention until the week of. My team's never there, so I'm a casual fan.
Because I could see if they do it in. I mean, there's no football team in Alabama. Well, professional and NFL team in Alabama. But if they ever did one in if the Panthers hosted one, they wouldn't be in it. Let's be real. But if they hosted it. Maybe that this year it's in New Orleans, so I'm trying to think of geographical connections, which obviously don't matter that much, but it could. So I don't know, but I like that prediction.
That leaves me with one last pick. So I'll go with this one. I think this is Cup Series, by the way. A top 5 seeded driver will be knocked out in the first round of the playoffs this year.
Ooh, that's a fun prediction. You want to give me a name? Off the record, you want to give a name? Yeah, give us a name.
God, the chat's going to flame me no matter who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Who's in the top 5 right now?
Larson, Elliott, Reddick, Hamlin. Who's 5th? Is it Truex, Byron, Bell? Who's 5th?
Hold on. I have the... I'm an idiot. I've literally been shown down the bottom. So right now it's Larson, Hamlin, Byron, Bell... They have the most wins, and then Blaney has 2.
I see a C. I was thinking regular season standings. Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, if Truex somehow is in there, I'm picking Truex because that team's
he's got no wins, so he won't be in there.
Yeah. I was just thinking if he somehow miraculously turned around with points. I guess if I go with the guys with multiple wins right now, God, that's rough.
I think I know my pick would be. I think of those five, it'd be a pretty easy pick.
I mean, because of his performance, I'd say Byron right now, but he always turns it on at the end of the year.
I guess that's true. I would pick I would have probably said Byron. I would also maybe say Bell just because Toyota. I feel like he's going to blow an engine. I could see him blowing a motor in one of those races.
Yeah, I think Bell would be mine, especially with Atlanta there. I think
Yeah.
Bell would, off the record, Bell would be mine.
There is Watkins Glen. I think he'll be good there. And what's the other one? Bristol. Yeah,
he'd be good there, but
yeah.
But I'm just thinking this is a wild card round.
It is. It really is. These are going to be insane playoffs. I don't think any of us are ready.
I don't think our brackets are going to last the first round.
No. Well, my final prediction. Remember, was it Talladega? Ford was like 1, 2, 3, 4 coming to the line, and they all blew it.
Yeah.
They're usually good at super speedways. I think Ford finishes 1, 2. I was going to say 1, 2, 3, but let's say they finish 1, 2 at Daytona here in a couple weeks.
Okay, I can see that.
In honor of some of the college football game I was playing last week, I'm going to do some college football related stuff here. The three hosts college football teams, being Jarrett's a Notre Dame fan, I'm Tennessee. Eric, do you claim Texas or Oklahoma now?
I guess if Amelia's listening, I have to say Oklahoma, but like I went to Texas. Can I have both? Is that allowed?
Sure, you can have both because it only adds more for my prediction.
Okay.
The three host college football teams will each be 3-0 at the end of week 3 in college football.
Who does
when do Texas and Oklahoma play each
let
other?
me see.
Is it week like 5?
Much later, but Texas is a lot riskier because they play Michigan week 2.
Ooh,
I'm trying to see who, because I put it in my calendar and then I stopped thinking about it, like the Notre Dame schedule, until it comes up. So
Notre Dame, I think their second game.
They play Texas A&M, NIU, and Purdue. Yeah, they'll be 3-0.
Yeah, you should be A&M. It's really Texas that's the one that gives me most concern. Tennessee could slip up to North Carolina State if they're not that good, but if they're good, they'll beat them.
Notre Dame, please beat NIU for me.
That's like the ultimate game of the year for you right there.
Oh, I will seriously have multiple TVs. I want that game. I want that game to be Notre Dame winning and like a 57-0 blowout. And I will sit there and be like, not enough. I'll be like that Kylo Ren meme, like more. Like that will be me.
Now that we have our nice area set up for outside, like TV, if the weather's nice, you can come over and watch that game with us then.
Well, we do. I think Atlanta is that week Xfinity wise, so I might have to.
Oh yeah.
You'll probably see me in a post race stream being like, oh, fucking kill him. And that's it, right? That's the predictions.
Yeah, look at us. There we go.
Where are we on
Good
likes?
Are we even close, chat? We're 30 something away on my screen.
You know what? I'm generous, and I want to play a game either.
What if we meet them halfway from where are we at right now? Like, what's the exact likes?
We are at 362, which considering we only have 320 watching, I'm about willing to accept that.
How about this? You know, it's an off week. It's a weird week. I don't want to give it to them right off the bat. I want them to still hit a goal. What if we go down to 375?
How about this, chat? I'm going to write down a number on this, a number between 1 and 100. And if one of the first 5 people to guess gets this number correct, we'll play the game. This pen is running out of ink, but okay, hold on. I've written it. Okay. Between 1 and 100, I've written down a number. This shouldn't be that hard, chat, but one of the first 5 guesses. Okay, 62. The 5th one got it. The 5th one got it just barely.
You said it shouldn't be that hard.
Thank God. Man, we 62.
Okay, a lot of people are actually getting 17 now.
369, 50, and then the 5th guess, Snappy, said 17. All right. Should we give it to him?
I'll give it to him.
Alrighty then.
It's the off week. This is a short show. Of course they need to have it.
Yeah, random.
We need to have it for the watch time, guys. What are we talking about?
Random driver of the week. All right. So my friends here, my co-hosts, will turn off their
chat. Bye.
Chat is gone.
I was actually writing down I was doing the abbreviated version of writing down all of the clues so that I could read it off the paper. It's a little finicky thing for me. So the last couple weeks here, Eric, got it last week with David Reagan. Danny had Shauna Robinson. Our guest John had Dick Trickle. Mike Stefanik for Eric, and Danny also had Carrie Earnhardt. So pretty even split the last couple. Also, I need to say it now before we jump completely on into it. Danny and Eric are tied 8-8 head-to-head here when it comes to getting it right. Guests have 5 on the year. I have stumped everybody once. Are you ready?
I said, "Are you ready?"
I'm just thinking of Ozzy Osbourne at the 7th inning stretch at Wrigley. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let me hear ya.
Are you ready for a good time?
And 1, 2, 3.
Quick, bring in Jeff Gordon.
No, Ozzy was better. Ozzy at least got the damn stadium name right, because it wasn't a stadium. Wrigley Field. Damn it.
God. Jeff Gordon, man.
He deserved what happened to him in Chicagoland later that year. For that. He won the next year. He redeemed himself. Anyway, all right.
Has the
We've had
chat
enough
guessed it
stalling
yet?
for watch time.
Has the chat guessed it yet? I don't see it yet. All right, let's get it going. This random driver spent most of their early career at the South Boston Speedway. So,
Okay. It's a lot of drivers, potentially.
this random driver also hails from Mount Sidney, Virginia.
It's a cool name of a town.
I figured it'd be a Virginia driver there around South Boston.
Could be North Carolina. Could be Tennessee. No. Don't
Well, you've already
judge.
said it's Virginia.
Don't judge. Yeah.
We have cars.
This random driver was a driver for and also a protege of Ken Schrader.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. All right.
This random driver also participated in the Kulwicki Driver Development Program.
Cool wiki driver development program.
Yeah, it's like it's like a driving school. Yeah,
All right. I do know that.
That Alan Kulwicki was in charge of.
at one point, or maybe named after. I'm not sure on the details on that one, so don't quote me. This random driver ran in the 2016 All-American 400 for David Gilliland.
That's really random.
Or is it?
This random driver's LinkedIn account has the latest education listed as Stewart Middle School.
Wait, okay.
That's what it said.
I love that. I love that they have a LinkedIn just to put their middle school as their alma mater.
It reminds me of those old Sunday Night Footballs where it's like Jared Allen Culinary Academy. Or Balso Hard University. This random driver also works with the Duke University School of Medicine on cancer research.
Wait, so they only went to middle school?
Wait a
I
second.
didn't say did research. By the way, I'm not hinting on clues, but so just letting you know.
Has the chat gotten it?
No.
Oh, they haven't? Wow. Okay. I'm surprised. I feel like you've given us some really juicy clues that somebody would have picked it up. Someone a lot smarter than me.
This random driver's personal website domain has lapsed.
Oh. It's like, I don't know, after a while, it's been like $20 a month just to keep renewing it. I don't know.
Oh, I looked it up and all I saw was GoDaddy.
Oh, GoDaddy.
It's Danica. That's a hint.
That's a hint.
Is that a clue? Is that an answer?
No.
This random driver's Twitter starts with P1.
Like,
I feel like I've seen that,
like
but
it's at P1 something else.
Yep.
I don't know.
This random driver ran for 3 Cup teams. I will not
Name
list them.
Ah.
Aw, shucks. This random driver also has not raced in the next gen era.
okay, I'm gonna make a guess.
Yeah, what you got?
Elliott Sadler.
Incorrect.
Okay, I just wanted to throw it out there.
Chat has it, by the way.
Chat's gotten it right.
Yep.
You demons.
This random driver's best finish in 89 Cup starts was 13th.
Oh, if I would have waited, that would have definitely told me.
Dang. 89 Cup starts. So they ran what, like 3 years? Roughly? 2 years, 2.5 years? No.
This random driver had on-track issues with Ryan Newman, Joey Gase, Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Josh Bilicki, and Matt DiBenedetto.
Oh my God. Wait, so they raced recently, but not in the next gen.
Mm-hmm.
They were a Ken Schrader protege? What?
Mm-hmm.
And they ran the All-American 400, you said, in 2016?
Yeah, and I'll even give you this. This random driver still races super late models.
Oh.
Name me the people that they've had issues with again.
Ryan Newman, Joey Gase, Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Matt DiBenedetto, and Josh Bilicki.
Bilicki is random. Who's Bilicki beefed with? I feel like he's beefed with a few guys, but I can't think of any of them.
This random driver sold iRacing setups after his NASCAR career. That was a job for a while.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Is it Garrett Smithley?
It is not.
Ugh.
I was thinking that too, so I'm glad you put that out there.
Maybe it's a younger guy then who just
one off the
out.
Board for each of you. You have 2 guesses remaining, and we may or may not be close to the halfway point of clues.
Yeah.
But Smithley would have made sense being an iRacing guy.
Yeah, I was thinking age, and if you're running into like Bilicki and Joey Gase, you're probably running like.
You said his best cup finish was 13th.
Yes, points finishes are 33rd and 31st.
Oh, man, I really like my Smithley guess. I don't know anything about where he's from or any connection to Ken Schrader, but I like the rest of it.
This random driver has been tweeted about full name twice by me and once a piece by Danny and Eric.
That's always my favorite clue you give every week.
I know.
It's
one of the most fun to look up.
I just imagine you're over here like just searching up art.
If Twitter ever takes away the ability to search that, like they took away to see likes, Jared's gonna be hurting for this part of it.
Yeah, because Eric's tweet was actually responded to by this random driver's team.
Oh. That's a hint. Wait.
No.
So I said something about.
What are you talking about?
So like when this driver beefed with Josh Bilicki, did I say something in the team like? Was it? Can you tell me?
I didn't even read your tweet, dude.
Can you tell me if the team was critical of me or not?
I'm not gonna give that info away.
Who could this be?
This random driver last year said that he had no itch to ever come back to NASCAR.
I've seen Garrett Smithley at the track. I don't know that he drives anymore in any of the top series, but so that's probably not. I don't know why I'm still thinking of Garrett Smithley. Obviously, it's not him.
Like, what are you waiting to hear? That he was on JonTron.
I might have guessed Joey Gase, honestly, until you told me he had beef with Joey Gase.
So I actually looked into this one to verify.
Looking in the mirror.
So I looked into this one to verify if it was true, and it is. All 3 of us have attended races where this random driver has crashed.
What? How did you look this up? What do you?
Because I remember the races you guys tell me about where you went, and I was like, I'm gonna look and see if this driver's crashed in these ones.
So this guy's crashed a lot. Not very good. Next gen, young guy. Not race next gen. He pre-next gen.
I got a fun one here. It's gonna make it even more fun if a guess doesn't pop up. This random driver has been on Out of the Groove.
I interviewed Garrett Smithley once.
He just keeps coming back to the Smithley tree.
Who did I talk? I mean, I've talked to quite a few drivers in my time. Yeah, but I'm about to go to my channel. No,
but by the way, you guys probably should start guessing because we got 1, 2.
I'm gonna make a random guess here.
5 clues left.
I'm making a random guess. Quinn Houff.
Is that your final guess?
Oh, it's probably Quinn Houff. I did interview Quinn Houff.
I've only had one. This is my second one.
I think
it is correct.
Good job.
Whoa, let's go.
He wrecked in the race we were at in Nashville in 21.
We're all there.
I just threw you off with that one. I was not going to be like...
I guess I started thinking of like guys who didn't race long in Cup sucked, didn't make it to next
Yeah, man,
gen.
I
I was like
totally
Quinn
forgot
Houff.
about him.
I didn't know if he was from Virginia or anything, but Quinn Houff made a lot
Hey,
of sense.
he did get on the next gen in NASCAR Ignition.
Oh,
Oh,
He was on the roster for that game.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
that was a good pull, man. I'm bummed I didn't get that one, but I totally forgot about Quinn Houff.
So
I did interview him
So I
once back in
guess
like
Star. So I guess
2019
Starcom.
maybe.
I guess Starcom would have been the one who responded to something you
it
said.
was a positive response.
Oh,
I
good. Were they like, thank you for interviewing our 35th place driver?
No, I think you had said something like positive about Quinn, and they like said something positive back. I don't remember all that.
Aw.
I kind of had to throw it off because you guys asked me these questions. I have to deflect a little bit.
So what in the world is Quinn Houff doing at Duke University now?
So he helps with funding with their research development program because I believe his grandmother either died or had
Okay.
cancer. So it sounds like a great dude outside of racing. Just couldn't cut it in Cup.
I don't know if this is part of your clues or not, but did I read something that he's gone like his family has like a trucking business or something like that? Is he doing trucking now?
I might have went down the wrong. I was looking these clues up while I was at the airport in DC the other day, so I was like, I might have not barked up that tree. So I'm not sure. One of the other clues was he's the same age as Eric and I.
Yeah, I was totally forgot about him. I'm mad. I don't know if I ever would have gotten it honestly until you said his name is
He
unless you told him me Starcom, then I might have
he
remembered
honestly
finding
has
it.
probably the most forgettable, shortest NASCAR career. I'm sad to say that, but that's true.
Yeah,
No, but I do remember some of the beef. Was it what was the deal at Texas where
yeah.
he like turned down? Who
He
was that?
pulled the
Was it
JJ
Bell?
Yaley. Yeah, it was Bell and I think one other, but he pulled a JJ
Yeah.
Yaley and he tried going across
Yeah.
like 3 lanes into the pits, and that was actually the majority of tweets when I looked up, like, because I'll look up tweets about drivers, like just in general, and see what people were saying, and the majority of tweets about him were from that Texas race, and I was like, oh,
Tough break.
this is gonna be rough. It was actually difficult to find some good facts on him,
Man.
but yeah,
Well, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Good job, Danny.
Thank you.
Danny
I'm
is
so
up.
proud.
He is up 9-8 on Eric on the year.
Tough break. But we've been neck and neck. We've been back and forth. That's been good.
Yeah, this is like it's like a really close race happening right here.
And by the way, we're only 12 likes away from the like goal.
Yeah, y'all just want to
Woo!
might as well just finish it off. I mean, for crying out
Well,
loud. I guess we can finish up the super chats though. Now that we're at this point in the show.
let's do it.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Okay.
So we ended off talking about Jarrett's Only Pups page coming soon.
No.
Ben Lewis, appreciate the $5. Good reference to the recent movies. I saw Twisters last night at the theater, and it was really good, but not as good as the original. I feel
Can't
like
beat the original.
they're both great in their own parts. I did watch a YouTube video where they really compared everything in down to great detail, and some people have said it might be better. I enjoyed them both. They each have their own story. It didn't feel like it was trying to be a carbon copy of the original to me. So I enjoyed
That's
it.
good.
Respect.
Jarrett, you haven't seen it yet, have you?
I saw half of it on Twitter before the tweet got deleted.
No, not Deadpool and Wolverine.
No. I saw the first quarter of that one. No, I saw the first half of Twisters, and then
Twisters was on there too.
dude, every movie is. It's like like if you want to pirate something, like make sure it's just like an hour and a half long, and you'll be good to go.
Oh yeah, I
Oh
think
my
there was
gosh.
like before the commercial, everyone come out that SpongeBob movie was on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
awesome,
God.
man.
All right. Alex Love, appreciate it, $2. Anyone seeing Transformers 1 when it comes out? Not in theater. It looks good. I might want to watch it, but not in theater.
Right.
If I just like see it on stream. or something.
Transformers 1? What?
Are they like re-releasing the
No,
Shia LaBeouf?
it's like it's a prequel. And it's more like it's an animated thing. It's its own unique thing.
I was
Oh,
about
I
to
saw a trailer. I think did see a trailer for that. I'm not a big Transformers guy, but yeah, go for it.
actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
NASCAR Sun 2414, appreciate the $4.99. Hey, NWP guys, Danny, nice job on your trains videos and awesome NCAA football video game episodes. Eric and Iceberg, thanks for NASCAR news updates. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. Thank you for watching.
NASCAR Sun 2414, appreciate the $4.99 as the additional. After stacking pennies this week, I'm cheering for Corey LaJoy. Any 30 of you guys doing anything fun during the NASCAR off weeks? Not anything fun per se, just
I'm going on a trip to San Diego. My cousin's getting married in a month, and we're going on a bachelor trip to San Diego. I've never been to San Diego, so I'll be there for a few days next week.
Nice. I don't know what I'm doing. I figure it out as I go.
I might go film a train Saturday morning, go to the Nashville Fairgrounds to the flea market there on Saturday.
I know what I'm doing. I'm helping John set up for the event. I just remember, like, what am I doing? There gotta be something.
I'm super excited because I think on Monday I'm going to the Rangers Astros game here in Arlington. Ooh. I have been to the Rangers Stadium, their new stadium, a couple times now, but I've never been to an Astros Rangers game in hostile territory. I'm so freaking excited, but I will be devastated if the Astros lose. So I know everyone in the chat hates the Astros. Pray for me just this once.
Hey, it can't be any worse than me going to a Braves game, even though it shouldn't matter. I had on my Tennessee Vols national champions baseball shirt, and as I'm walking back to the car, this car goes by, and it didn't hit me at first, but I realized after they drove off that they must have been Georgia fans because they were literally barking at me because I was wearing orange.
That sounds like brain damage.
Yeah, I gotta y'all unhinge Georgia fans.
Georgia fans are not normal. I will tell you that right now.
Hey, the Cubs are beating the Reds 13-4.
Ooh, the Braves Stadium is nice. I actually saw the Astros play there last year. It was a good time. That's a nice stadium.
Fred Dog 81, appreciate the $5. NASCAR posted on Instagram that Bowman is the most pleasant surprise of the midseason, but I think it's Keselowski. Your thoughts on this?
Ooh, I've got a video coming out tomorrow on one of these very topics.
Hey,
Bowman's on my list. He's not number one. He's on my list, though.
I want to make a point of the three of us on the podcast because Danny fell off for a bit. I was the biggest one on the Bowman hype train still going in through the year. I did not waver. I knew if his back was healed, he'd be fine.
I'm back in. I'm locked in. I'm wearing a shirt. I'm back.
I never left.
You're saying that Bowman being good this year was not a surprise, then, Jared?
Not to me.
Not be on that list.
Not to me. Okay. I wasn't. I thought he'd be good. I've been right for years on Bowman picks. Like I was the only person verifiably on the internet that picked him to have 4 wins in 2021, and I will always brag about that.
Well done. All right.
I will say I disagree on the Keselowski thing. Keselowski just hadn't got a chance to win yet, and then now he finally broke through that. He's been still good these last few seasons.
Yeah, he was round of 12 last year, and I mean that's probably what he's going to end up doing this year. My spoiler alert for the 300 people watching right now: Todd Gilliland is my biggest pleasant surprise this year.
Yeah,
top 20 in points, signed a multi-year deal extension, I should say. Like considering where he was 3 years ago, I'm really impressed.
Who's the biggest unpleasant surprise for you guys this year?
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Kyle Busch.
I think Kyle Busch, yeah, definitely. I think he's first. Josh Williams. Like, I thought he'd do something.
Yeah. Yep, no, I'm with you. Colleague as a whole is just not even.
I guess like, Josh Williams, I just didn't know what to expect with that deal, honestly.
A top 10? Like, competing? I mean, like, Sheldon Creed, too. Like, come on, man, get a win already.
God, yeah. I mean,
he's literally in a better car than he was in last year.
Better car, same second result.
Mm-hmm.
Gridflow, appreciate the $2 there. Who is the best nepotism baby? My pick is Chase Elliott.
Richard Petty.
Oh,
yeah, I guess that's probably right. Yeah, that's a good call.
How are you gonna beat that? He didn't really make it up to the top ranks in NASCAR, but does Dale Earnhardt count? Ralph Earnhardt was a pretty good driver in his day.
Didn't expect that one, did you?
That's funny.
Hello FR. I guess that's HelloFresh's burner account. Appreciate the $2. Do you think Elliott Sadler flipped higher than the fence? I guess this is the Pocono crash we're talking about.
It might have been the Michigan one.
The Michigan one.
That's the one I heard he flipped.
He's on Dale Jr. Download this week. Has that episode come out yet? Or I
think it came out like an hour before we went live.
I was seeing some clips about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like they might talk about it there. They're sort of using that to promote it a little bit. So it'd be interesting to hear his side.
I heard from someone who was there that he did, but there's no footage.
That's always been the urban legends that he did. NASCAR made him delete the footage, whatever. Like, I don't, maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. We may never know.
I think it was because what year was that with Michigan? Was it 2000 or 2001? Might have been earlier. It was right around that. It was right around that time though that there was a safety concerns too, and NASCAR like basically is like, there's no footage of this. 2000, okay. All right. Thanks for the verification.
Groovy Goose appreciated $4.99. I don't know if Jarrett follows WWE. He doesn't, but he kind of reminds me of CM Punk, at least in terms of personality.
Is that a
Is that a
compliment?
compliment?
Would I
heard of CM
consider it a
Punk.
compliment? Because I think what me and you would consider compliments are different.
Like, I guess CM Punk can be like a narcissistic, sarcastic butthole sometimes.
Sign me up. And plus, I follow a little bit of WWE. I follow Rhea Ripley on Instagram. I gotta type.
Yeah.
I gotta type. I won't.
Well,
I'm not afraid to admit it.
So I don't follow WWE, but I've heard of CM Punk, and I'm looking at his photo now on Google Images, and I've never seen this man in my life. Like, I'm shocked that he is not. I don't recognize him whatsoever.
That's fine because he left WWE in 2014 on very bad terms and didn't go back to wrestling for like nearly 10 years. He went to AEW, found out that they were a very trash run organization, worse than WWE was when he left, and now he came back to WWE.
You know who he looks like?
Professionals.
You know what he looks like? He looks like an older version of, if it was a real life person, not a cartoon, of Duncan from Total Drama Island.
He looks like a pop punk lead singer.
Well,
He looks like a more. He looks like a more buff Adam Levine from Maroon 5.
Fun fact: CM Punk has a tattoo on his arm of Pepsi because some of his friends were getting like tattoos of their favorite like drink, but he doesn't drink alcohol, so he got a Pepsi tattoo instead.
I respect that. That's fun.
We got two more here. Bobby Blair, appreciate the $1.99. Quinn Half, GOAT. And Alex Luft with $2. Go Drew McIntyre. And this weekend is SummerSlam. CM Punk is facing Drew McIntyre with special guest referee Seth Rollins. So that should be a fun match. It's been a heated rivalry up to this point. Really with all three of those men, but mainly Drew and CM Punk. So it should be a fun time watching that in Cleveland this weekend.
Danny, that was all Greek to me. I don't know what's going on, but I'm all for it, I guess.
Right, next up, we're talking about trains. Let's talk about the CSX ES44AH and why it's the greatest train engine on the roster, guys.
Thomas.
Is that the one that's like kind of blue and yellow? Is that the one that goes?
No, it's when it was
my mistake. I was thinking of the previous generation. My apologies. Yeah.
And then when it rides by, the engine sounds like wow.
Good job, chat. You hit 400.
Is that the one that keeps waking me up at night?
Okay, I don't know if any of y'all know this. Favorite Tom of the Tank engine episode comes from Isaac V for $1.99.
I actually have an answer for this. I grew up on Thomas the Tank Engine. I don't remember any episodes specifically, but we had a movie on VHS that I ran into the ground. I think it was called Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Used to rock that.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I used to have a bunch of Thomas VHS tapes when I was a kid. Are you surprised? But one of the ones that stands out to me was one where I think it was somehow Thomas ended up crashing into a house and even got like all this dust on his face and even like an egg from like the house to go into the kitchen that he crashed into. It was on his face. So I just remember that. We got one more from someone that we honestly don't hear much from anymore these days with a classic throwback response here. Jar Jar Binks coming in of $1.99. Boo doo-doo head Kevin Harvick. Hashtag boo Harvick forever.
Was Alec Baldwin in Thomas and the Magic Railroad?
He was. He was the main conductor.
Oh my God! I'm just looking up clips and I'm like, wait, I know that guy. That's an A-list. That's a real actor. What the heck? Wow.
Daylight P&W Productions. Appreciate $1.99. It's off week. Time to watch trains. Well, boy, do I have a place for you. Go check out Danny B Trains to check out lots of great freight trains from America.
Is this the girl from Matilda in Thomas and the Magic Railroad?
I think it is.
Oh my goodness! All right, gentlemen, I'm gonna be rewatching Thomas and the Magic Railroad tonight. All right.
and no pun intended. We're off the rails now, guys.
They keep sending in super chats, so
yeah, good stuff. Good show tonight,
But
y'all.
I
This
do
was a
think that's all
fun
we
chat.
got for tonight. Actually, we somehow made it over 2 hours. Eric's like, it's only going to take less than 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, okay, hold the phone, buddy.
Hey, we've been doing 240 lately, so at 210, I'll take it.
Well, next week we'll do 240 on your channel.
Oh, great. Yay.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
be moving at breakneck pace.
You can catch us there on Eric's channel, where if you want the random driver segment, you better come ready to like, because we're gonna not settle for less than 400 that time.
No,
We ain't gonna. We gotta have more than 400 actually. We gotta have like what 500 something.
617.
Ooh,
Yeah.
if at 17, just because. By the way, thank you for those other. But thank you for those super chats, guys. Appreciate those last ones coming in. But that's all the time we got for this week. And I guess we will see you guys next week over on Eric's channel.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye now. Goodbye.